Welcome to the downside. Russell, I want you to show every drink that you just put on the table next to you.
I have this drink, which I've really come
Bash?
around to. At
Yeah?
first, I didn't like it. Bashy, perk the fuck up.
Oh, that's what it says?
Yeah.
Oh.
It has a lot of B12 in it.
Well, that's never getting sold at a Walmart.
Yeah. And I have 2 little waters. You know,
There's big ones in there.
I think we're out. I would have grabbed a big one.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
have 2 little ones.
Okay.
And then I have my cold brew. Coffee.
And you're not going to show that full thing of scotch you got there, too?
Jim Gaffigan
Jim Gaffigan
Scotch.
Scotch. Sold out online, so no need to plug it.
No.
Welcome to the downside. My name is Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host, Russell Daniels.
Hi, how are you?
And I'm literally like not going to answer at all. I'm fine.
Good.
But bad for this, because that's the theme of the
right,
show.
right.
Don't give me that look of confusion. We're here with KC Shornima. How are you doing, KC?
Hey, how are you guys?
We'll get to you in a sec. A lot of things to talk about. I just got back from Portland. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is coming out July 16th.
Were they having Heatwave Too?
No, it was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
I realized when someone describes a place as crunchy granola, that means it's for me. It's for me.
Really?
I can tell the way people say crunchy granola. I can tell like if we're gonna get along. If someone says to me, "Oh, it's really crunchy granola,"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Ooh,
yeah.
maybe we'll be friends." But if
I feel
someone's like,
yeah,
it's real
they're like,
crunchy
real
granola, I'm
crunchy
like, "Whoa,
granola.
got a fascist over here, real Nazi."
Yeah.
So two things. I did a radio. I've been doing a little bit more morning radio. It's not,
Brag.
yeah, real fun.
I've been having a hard time moving tickets, so I have to go wake up in the morning.
Doing a lot of regional, local news.
It feels like, I don't know, because there used to be comics who used to complain about it pretty regularly, so I think it was more a staple. No one has ever, in all the morning radio I've done, come to a show and after the show said, "Oh, heard about you on morning radio this
Yeah.
morning and I
Yeah.
bought tickets." Not once, not ever.
Yeah.
How many people have said that about the James Corden set? One. Okay. And that's all the statistics I have in terms of what works promotionally.
Yeah.
But they did a segment that felt very like what comics used to complain about back in the day, where it was like in between commercials where it's like, "All right, we're over here, we're telling a joke that's so dirty, we got to split it up into 2. What did the labia say to the clit? We'll be right back after these messages." And then they cut away and go back to their business, just very, and then 3 minutes later they come back and they go, it's 2 guys, "What's good in the hood?" And the other one goes, "Ha ha ha ha." Back to commercial. And it was just to really see comedy commercialized like that was very sad.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think the punchline makes it dirtier.
No. Also, but what is this local radio? That feels very risque for a local radio.
Well, they split it up. The first part was just an
I know, but I've
anatomy
never.
conversation.
I mean, can you imagine driving to work and hearing labia? Like that's. I feel like.
In the
there's like
morning.
10 accidents on the
Yeah.
way home. People are crashed. I can't believe they said this.
Yeah.
I think my mom would have laughed. I think a regular person would hear labia and go, "Oh, spicy network."
And all the dads are just Googling what a labia is.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah. It's like, there's like edgy in like real comedy, and then there's edgy
Yeah.
for Saturday Night Live. This is the downside.
Wow. Seamless transition.
Where was the music would have
Oh,
crushed it.
that's so embarrassing.
You're listening to The Downside
Got
with
it.
Gianmarco Soresi.
To be fair to our producer, Chris, I normally go a little bit longer, but it just felt so right.
Yeah.
It just felt so good. We need a signal. When you feel a great punchline is coming,
Right.
that's the signal. When
And
you
then
hear me
you
go,
look
when
and
you hear
you
me go,
wait.
you see it in my eyes. Tova can see it. She's always like, "You're about to do a bit." And I'm like, yes. KC Shornima.
Hello.
The reason I made that joke, she is a writer for Weekend Update on SNL and a formidable stand-up comedian.
Ooh. Big word.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say, oh my God, so my mom sent me a text. I fucked up recently. I said a joke that my mom didn't like, and she gives me a wide berth. So
Yeah.
so I gotta respect it. And then she sent me a text. I guess she was looking up my shows.
Wait. She gives you a wide berth. Just sounds like she has a huge pussy. You just
Yeah.
walk right out.
Listen, we cannot talk
gave
any
me
shit
a
about my mom
wide
anymore.
No, we can't.
My mom's got a
What was
tight
you don't,
puss.
you don't
Yeah,
have to say the joke, but what was it?
Yeah, what
Kind of the like.
No, I said it in the last podcast. Remember my blessing? It was really like long and
I
strained.
know.
and
You did the
emotional.
blessing,
I
but you didn't
cried.
say the exact thing that you said that hurt her feelings.
I
You don't have to say it. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
a general area of like.
yeah,
Is there a way to be vague?
not at all.
Okay, never mind then. Striking. I'm striking it.
That,
Tell me later.
I will. No, my mom is the best, and that's why I was. I guess she looked me up for my Portland show. She was in Portland. We got dinner, and I guess my Wikipedia entry, which I've never read. Sir, it's amazing. There was a time I would have been excited. Here's the thing about show business: everything happens to you when you would no longer give a shit about it. That's kind of how it works. There's sometimes a brief pocket where like you're right in the pot of like, oh my God, the exciting thing is happening while I have the space to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But generally, by the time it comes to you, you're like, ugh,
Work.
Yeah.
ugh.
More work.
So where is Gianmarco Soresi from? This section. Soresi was born in 1989 in Potomac, Maryland. Not going to correct him on the year.
Yeah.
To an Italian father and a Jewish mother. His parents divorced when he was days old. His father was lax in his parenting, allowing his young son free reign, while he says his mother offered a more structured but loveless home. He
Who
attended
wrote
Georgetown
this?
Day School.
And I apologize for updating without asking you, but no, but who how do you get
wrote
access to do
this?
it?
I don't know, like, but I can't. You have to become an editor. There's some small approval. I can't just go there willy nilly
Yeah.
without logging in.
Right.
You look like you've put in Wikipedia
I've
entries.
tried to before, and they used to just let you do it. You didn't have to log in. Then I think it became a problem, and now I think you
Sure.
have to log in.
I mean, it's amazing. It hasn't been a bigger problem given
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah.
I always love I feel like during the Me Too era, there was a real the moment that something came out, someone would be like, I updated the Wikipedia to let everyone know. I tagged every person he masturbated in front of.
Yeah.
Some of them had links, some of them didn't. Are you on Wikipedia?
No.
Are you on
No.
Wikipedia?
As a social media.
I like her.
I hit people up on Wikipedia. I'm like, hey, will you edit this?
Hey.
I don't think I've ever used the word loveless. I've certainly said that there was a strain. It was a strained household. Probably because of more my stepfather and that relationship. But loveless. That's
Yeah.
very harsh.
Yeah.
I think our Filipino maid gave me a lot of love growing up. certainly is why I have such a taste for
good
Filipino
tan.
food. Yeah, a good tan. Thank
Yeah.
you. I remember my sister. So we ate like a lot of rice. That's why I think I just love rice. That was just our base meal.
Yeah.
And I remember though my sister was a picky eater, and our nanny who lived with us for a portion of time, whenever my sister didn't eat, she would just grab the rice and like shove it in her mouth, just in a way that didn't feel like of what everyone else was doing for parenting. They did
Yeah.
other fucked up things for parenting, but it was very funny.
Wow.
I used to
in her
remember
mouth.
picking it up with her hands, and that's why you with my hands too.
Yeah.
I think honestly, a lot of me is really influenced by the Philippines.
Banana.
Or just one nanny.
One abusive.
Yeah.
man.
It's one of
You're
those
like,
things of like, you know how
that's-
Filipinos always
Yeah.
do this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like,
no, that was
just
an
that nanny.
You're like, you know how Filipinos fill the hole that your mom left in your life?
And a lot of Filipino
Do
kids are like, oh, how are you doing? Are you good?
I'm good. I had some family in town this weekend.
You took your nephew.
Took my nephew to see Natalie, our friend Natalie, in Wicked.
Wicked. Do you know Wicked?
Yes.
You've seen Wicked?
No, but I'm obsessed with that song, Defying Gravity. That's
You're
like
obsessed with that song.
I love that song. I listen to that song as pump up music for stand up.
Oh.
It's a great pump up song.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen Wicked in. I think I saw the year it came out, so like 20 years ago, and so I hadn't seen it in 20 years. Great time. You know, he loved it. My nephew. We got to go backstage after the show, which was like huge. You know, seeing all the set pieces and.
Did your nephew
Thanks.
like theaters? This is his first Broadway show.
Second, I took him to Gutenberg.
wow.
When I was in it, and he when I was in it. So both shows he's gotten to go backstage and get a tour and stuff.
Do you think the first time he goes to a show without going backstage,
He
he'll be
said
like, what the fuck is this?
he did tell my mom that not to tell me, but that he liked Wicked more than Gutenberg. And he's like, I probably would have liked Gutenberg more if Uncle Russell was in it, but you know.
You don't see. I could see a world where Gutenberg ran 20 years and people said, "Whose Bud is the best?"
So, but no, it was fun.
Go see Wicked. What are you doing?
The movie's coming out now.
Do not see the movie before you see the show.
Really?
Do not
'Cause it's
see.
just
Movie musicals are notoriously hard to pull off, and based on the trailer, they didn't do it this time.
Oh, hot take.
Okay, I didn't know what the plot was. I got goosebumps watching just the trailer, but I could tell that this is gonna.
Listen, maybe you're.
Ariana's acting seemed a little hard. It seemed like it was a struggle.
And you've worked with her.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
You didn't pitch a character for Weekend Update to her? You're like, no, I remember I read that book, what is it? I'm Glad My Mom's Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Really good book about that kids' TV show, which I'm too old for. Cat. What is it called? Cat.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I worked with that kid, when I first moved to New York, he was a big fan of that show. So I saw
It's some show, some
Is
old
it
Nickelodeon.
Cat and yeah,
I
it was
don't
two
know.
girls.
But Ariana Grande is in
Yeah,
it.
she was one of them.
Oh,
And
I
I-
thought she was in Victorious.
She was in both. There was a spin-off.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
okay,
a spin-off,
okay,
and it was
okay.
her and you know, she details in the book
Sam
Sam
and Cat.
Sam and
Okay,
Cat.
okay.
And there's clearly
Thank
no.
God.
She didn't express any animosity towards, but there's clearly no like real friendship. And I'm sure it was tough. It was like being
Right.
on a TV show where someone's
Well,
blowing
your
up,
kids, yeah,
and they're not available for set, and you
Yeah.
have to. But you go and you back and you go and Ariana's. I'm like, oh, is she like a child prodigy actor? And she's like, hi, my name's Ariana.
Well, but all
and I'm
those
like, what is
shows,
this?
all those shows. I mean, because I was with my nephew and he like was hanging out, so we put stuff on TV, like, and you watch it, and all those kid shows. First of all, the acting, whatever.
Yeah.
But the kids are so mean. Like every interaction they have with each other and with adults is so angry. Like they're all so angry. The parent will be like, "What are you doing, sweetheart?" And I'm like, "I'm doing this, mom." And they're just like so angry and everything. And then when kids act like kind of like snotty, you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
because everything they're
That's
watching
why.
is like this horrible. They're all so mean and mad. Why are they mad?" Because I think it's funny. It's like
Right.
everything is phrased like a punchline. There's no jokes written, but they're phrased like it's a zinger. You know what I mean?
And Russell's a big fan of the guy who created that show.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Dan Schneider fan.
Big Dan
Yeah.
Schneider fan.
Big
Dan
Dan
Schneider.
Schneider
He'll be on the
fan.
pod next
Yeah.
week, Dan.
Did you guys watch All Quiet on the Set?
I watched the
Yes.
first episode.
I didn't watch it, but is it good?
Yeah, I actually watch it as pump up before I go and do
Oh,
stand
that's
up
good.
sets.
That's good. He has that one song at the beginning.
No, but we talked about it in one episode. It was you watched it.
I watched it, but you know what? I can't tell you much about. I mean, like kind of like I mean, it was.
I wanted to be a child star.
Right.
I-
You're like, I would have done anything to Dan Schneider to be a child star.
I certainly would
Wish he'd
have
asked me.
shown my feet, and you know, if there were mucus stunts that were clearly cum, I'd be fine. I don't know. I do. I've been undeterred from my fantasy of like, oh, wouldn't it have been cool to have been a child star.
Really? Even now? You think it would have been cool to be a child star?
I think it's so hard to pull off the long term thing.
Right.
You know, it's
I'd
so
be,
hard.
I'd be a monster for
For
sure.
every Keenan, there's like,
Kel?
Oh my! I almost said it and then I didn't. I felt too bad.
I never watched that show.
No, but there's like, it's just a hard thing to like sustain.
Right. Yeah.
for many reasons.
That's why I'm waiting to peak.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait 10 more years
Wait,
and
just
see
wait,
if anyone
you know?
wants me then.
Peak
Well,
at the very end,
yeah.
right before you go.
I've met Kel, and he's very sweet.
I bet.
Yeah, he seems really
He
sweet.
inspired a bit because he's very Christian.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And but when I saw him, he had a necklace and it had a diamond gold Goku. And so now I'm just doing like I'm doing a bit about like it's unfair. In my bit, some guy
Right.
has both, and I'm like it's unfair to compare them because Goku would win
Yeah.
every time. Oh, you came back to
Yeah.
life once. So we're gonna have to bleep that out. We're gonna go
Kel.
Keenan.
and who
Keenan and
knows?
And a really quick beep, like a 3-letter beep.
You can still hear the L at the end.
He's making more money than all of us combined. So
Oh, for
Definitely.
sure.
I mean, he was on a show. He was on one of the shows that my nephew was watching as like a
Really?
thing. Yeah.
Oh, he was on SNL last year.
Yes.
did you tell your nephew about Dan Schneider? Or did you just
Yeah,
show
we went
him?
into it. I paused it. And I said, just while you're watching this, let me give you the whole history of this network.
That is tough. Like, do you separate the children's art from the artist?
Well,
like,
A of all,
Right.
Dan Schneider did not create whatever show my nephew is watching right now on modern television.
he certainly inspired it.
He
It
certainly
feels
did.
like he.
Yes,
It feels like
yes.
he really was the grand
He wrote the
architect of
practices.
all
Yeah.
kids TV.
Standard practices still apply on those shows.
Watching a kids TV show now, it's like still going to Catholic church, but you weren't involved.
Yeah.
Right.
With the main priest.
Yeah.
Have you had to navigate shit talking? I mean, clearly not, based on like 3 references already.
Well, I wouldn't consider those shit talking.
No.
I think what I'm learning now is I am projecting that they would want to extend that career to the nth degree, but maybe they're done and maybe they like that, you know?
Sure.
Maybe they're like, I don't want to be in public. So maybe he's good.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think the whole situation with? I feel like there was a time not that long ago where I would try to get some SNL folks on the podcast, and they were all like, they all thought Shane Gillis' story was going to happen to them, and I was
Right.
like, you don't have to say a slur if you don't want to. Like,
Yeah.
we don't make you. We don't go like accent time. Go. But then that went
That's
away.
why I have this accent on. I actually don't talk like this.
I was going to say, I
This
hope
is
she
my
holds on to
Asian
it for the rest of the show. And then the IO thing
Right.
yeah.
with J-Lo.
Yeah.
And it sounds it's brutal for her. Just the worst, like trying to have a good time.
Yeah,
just like a
totally.
great week,
Like a
cool week, and then like
big moment.
Oh fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And then J-Lo, of course, handled it the worst way. It said in an interview that IO came crying to.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
believe
Wow.
I believe J-Lo said like IO came like tears in her eyes and said, "I'm so sorry." And then someone retweeted that with like, "God damn, she's the greatest actor of all time, IO," because she was just faking
Right,
it too.
right.
And then J-Lo's career hit a snag.
Did it?
She canceled the tour.
She canceled the
Oh,
tour?
Yeah.
Or she canceled the whole.
Oh, is it because of the breakup?
I mean, that I think that movie didn't do great.
Oh,
And,
right. I forgot about this
I saw that movie on acid, and I
Whoa.
needed something stronger.
Yeah.
It was brutal, and I just think a lot of
What was
and
it called? It was like, this was a huge joke in my life for a minute where
This is
everyone
me,
kept, yes, this
dot,
is
dot,
me
dot,
now.
now.
Right.
is me.
Which reminds me of the show I once did on Lifetime called "I Love You, But I Lied," and how they kept mixing it up. Sometimes it "I loved you, but I lied."
Oh.
I think it's better. "I love you, but."
I lied.
lied.
Yeah. I like that too.
So, Casey,
Yes.
we met at JFL.
Yeah, we met at JFL.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Hey.
R.I.P. JFL.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Never again.
I don't think so.
No.
Haven't heard any rumblings of anything.
No. And now Netflix as a joke.
only
I
it
think is
had-
the new JFL.
Crumbled.
Netflix, it's not going to be the new JFL. JFL, like Netflix is too. It's too big. JFL had some new talent
Right,
could
right,
emerge. Netflix is like, how can new talent? I mean, listen, I had a good time
Yeah.
at the festival. give me an hour, please. But like, how can new talent emerge when you have every famous
right,
comedian,
right.
not just some?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unlimited budget. JFL, at least, like you couldn't get everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of felt grassroots at JFL. It felt
Yeah.
like we were, I don't know,
But
just
you
at
know
a
why
hotel.
it became felt grassroots is because their
'Cause
budget was dwindling.
They were
Right, right.
dying.
Like, wow,
Yeah.
there's no one famous here
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, they couldn't pay anyone.
Truly, for our year to the second
Then one
year,
more and then it's over.
Yeah, but when I went to the one more, I just remember being like, there are still plenty of great comics there, but it was like, it was different. There was
Right,
no
right, right.
Mulaney. There was no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your. Well, we did the thing there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, there wasn't.
When our podcast got in, I said,
Whoa, something's up.
Something's wrong.
Something's up.
Russell and I have been a part of so many places last leg. It is incredible.
Yeah. Can I tell you, right before JFL crumbled, I had my audition and it crumbled like 2 days later. And I had like the flu and I forced myself to go from Manhattan to Brooklyn to do this goddamn audition that no one there saw because everyone there knew it was going to probably collapse at that moment. And I just think, and I almost canceled, and I was like, no, Russell, you got to get up. You got to do it. And now I'm like, for like just thinking of that night and that day and
well,
how
if any
miserable.
other comedians are wondering why after that showcase they were deathly sick for about a week, now you know it was Russell Daniels. Michael Jordan had the famous flu game, but people sleep on Russell had the famous
Russell's gotta do
flu
his-
5 minutes of sketch comedy characters.
His classic porn voice character he's gotta do. He's just gotta do it.
So let's get the SNL talk out of the way. Are you happy you're taking a break?
Yeah, we're on break. I am on the road.
What is your schedule? Like, is your schedule?
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Is it fine?
Yeah.
Are you going to work like fully well? You slept well, and everyone's
No. It's like our schedule is different, but we submit at 12 every day, like all our jokes from the day before. So I only do update. So
And they give you a packet of headlines.
yes, they give us a packet in the morning. So Monday morning is pretty chill. Monday morning's like the chillest. Then Monday, when you get the packet at 12, then it starts, and then you start writing, and then the next day by 12 you have to submit. Theoretically, if you're really good at your job, you can kind of finish it on Monday. Probably, I stress about it till 12, like till the next day when I submit.
You run in it by you saying it to friends out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to like call a friend and go through all these jokes to see if they sound like jokes. Because sometimes when you're just writing alone, because you write alone.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you're like, is this a sentence or is this a joke? I have no idea. So you have to say it out loud, and then I would say it to a friend, and then it would kind of like.
And would you impersonate which person you wanted to say it?
No, because I think like a good joke should work as like a badly told sentence, you know?
Sure.
Like it should have no, like without a performance, it should still be a good joke.
Do you have to indicate on the joke like if it's a racist joke, like this is for Colin?
Yeah, like for instance, if you wrote a joke about being white, you would just write Colin because
Sure.
it doesn't make sense for a Chay, or like being married or something. You just want to give it to that person. So I will sometimes write their name, but mostly no. Mostly you're just kind of writing a joke.
And how many are you submitting like for that first initial? How many
We
jokes?
try to do 3 pages every day, which comes out to about 20. Honestly, the longer it is, the worse day I'm having as a writer.
Yeah.
Because then I'm rambling. I'm like 7 pages in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the reason I went to the 7th page is because I didn't have anything in the first 3, you know?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'm like just going and going. And then I'm like, maybe they'll find something in this pile of trash, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very. Is it weird? You have a very lonely job. I mean, you
How
just
many-
get this alone.
Yeah,
how many
but we
of
go
their,
into work every day.
How many
Yeah.
of like just weekend? Like how many other writers are just focused on Weekend Update?
It's 4 writers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Including them?
No.
Oh,
4.
okay. And then, okay, so you're there, you're doing it in person, you get to talk. Do you ever get to go in and say, hey, what do you think of this? Or is it very much?
Yeah, so we do it, we submit it, and then at 2 I go into work on like the Tuesday, and then Tuesday we stay late because it's writing night. So if they have any feature ideas, we just stay late to get the feature ideas. Then on Wednesday it's like reading, so you're there till like 11 maybe, like kind of late-ish.
You're reading in a room?
They're doing the table read,
table
and you're
read.
just kind of like.
Are they
watching
reading it
the-
out loud in the table read?
Yeah.
Or oh.
But not the update jokes.
Not the update jokes.
Yeah, update
Okay.
jokes stay till we read with the guys on Friday.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then Friday night we're there really, really late.
For Friday, do they make it anonymous who wrote what? Or do they?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the best part. Is
Yeah.
it's anonymous, and you've submitted the packet, and like our head writer will like comb through it and pick the ones that he wants to send along, and then the guys will pick through theirs, and then they will send a big packet, and then we go through that.
When one of
and
your
then we
joke
cut it down.
bombs, do you ever act like you didn't write it? You're like, what was that?
Who wrote that?
Yeah, every joke I act like I don't know what is going on here. Sometimes if I wrote something that's like, I'll sometimes write like a joke that's like explicitly like racist, but it's like an Asian specific joke. And then I have to feel like I have to cop to this because I don't want them to be like one of the white guys wrote this, you know, because it feels really bad. So then
Why,
I'm like,
I don't
I'm like,
see Colin
sorry.
or Michael being like,
Yeah.
who wrote this one?
No,
Who
they'll
wrote
like,
this one?
They'll like laugh and they'll be like, "There's no way you can say that," and I'll be like, "You can say it. You can say it. Tell them I said it."
Yeah.
you
Tell
know?
them I
Yeah.
said it. Yeah.
I always loved that. I thought that's one of the best things Seth Meyers did was when he had jokes he couldn't say, and so he brought out like Amber and other folks to be like, yeah, these are great jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to be told in some way.
Yeah.
Pitch it.
Yeah, and they have the guys have the joke swap.
Joke swap, yeah.
So
yeah,
then
of
they have
course.
jokes and they can't say it, and then they say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be fun to write.
That one's really fun to write. That one's like fun to write, but you're also kind of like, you're like, I don't even want to tell you guys that I had this as a thought. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because you're like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun to
And
write,
they
but
go
you're
hard
like,
in the paint. I mean,
Yeah.
they really
they
go.
really go
Yeah.
in.
It really is.
It's-
Colin is the one I think where I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, it's brutal
Yeah.
to say those things to, I'm sure, I mean, like, imagine just saying it for the first time, cold, to a room full of people.
What do you do on those days during the dress? Do you just skip that segment?
No, we give them different jokes.
Are they
Oh.
are they
They're like similar concept, different jokes.
Oh God!
Yeah.
And
Oh, man.
they should release that footage.
Yeah, they should release
Are
that.
there ever some like real bangers in there that are
Yeah, but we save the real bangers for the, because you
Sure.
know that like the segment's gonna work. So those jokes are pretty like practiced.
Yeah.
release it?
Yeah, they
I
should
like
release
how they
They
got
should
into the
release an
habit of
extended cut.
releasing
some
stuff
of
that
the-
doesn't
Cut
air.
for time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cut for time.
Cut for
Yeah.
That
time
was
is
really
great.
smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask joke you're proudest you got on?
The joke, it was my first year and I really loved it. It's so dumb. It's such a bad joke, but I had gotten other jokes on at that point, but I was like, I really love this. It made me laugh. It's like some guy had like stolen like $1 million from a school system by like coming up with some chicken wings scheme. And the joke is just like, but the guy said he was gonna give it all back, and then Colin does the chicken voice.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
I usually watch
Yeah.
him twice. I
It's
really
like a
like.
dumb joke.
Did he nail the back? Did he get it?
Yeah, no, he did. They nailed a thing in the read, and that's the only way it works, And that one, I was like, this is so stupid, and the math on it doesn't make sense because he stole money. He didn't steal chicken.
Yeah.
But the scheme was involving chicken. So I was like, well, the word is there. So you can, anyways. We debated that for a while because our head writer was like, the math on this is kind of off. And I was like, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but he's going to go back on TV. That's fun. So,
Any joke that you're like, either it was Asian related or something else that didn't get on that you're like, that was a good joke.
yeah, there was a joke this year. I can't even remember what. Oh, it was like some Indian girl was able to do some kind of feat. I don't remember what it was, the setup. But the joke is basically like, oh, but that's because she has 20 hands or something. And and we liked it, but then when we did it at rehearsal, I think everyone was like, what?
They're not familiar enough with the culture to
Yeah,
understand
they
the
need
reference.
to know
Yeah.
the whole
They're
thing.
like, is the drinking water bad there?
Yeah,
And they have
what is happening?
deformities?
Yeah.
Any weeks that you got nothing on?
Yeah. I mean, like my first week that I was fully there, I got nothing on. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be
Were
sad.
you scared?
Yeah, but actually, before I joined, when I talked to the writers, they were like, one of the writers was like, I didn't get anything on the whole first year.
Oh my
You'll be
God.
fine. Like,
I'd
want to.
throw up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you must have worked your ass off that
Right,
first
of course. I mean,
year.
like, you're like in, like, under so. The first year was kind of like, you're just kind of counting, like, in your head, but now you're more, like, relaxed because you're like, oh, I count it in my head as doing a good job if when we're reading it the first time, there's a good sampling of my jokes because that means
Sure.
they liked it enough through two
Yeah.
processes.
Yeah.
Then when we have to cut, it's like sort of like not even personal because a lot of the news is like, we wrote this on Monday. It's not relevant by
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah,
Sure.
So when
yeah,
we're
yeah.
cutting, it's like, yeah, of course we're going to cut that.
Yeah.
Also, the other writers are so good that when you're cutting, it never feels like, oh, you cut this. You're always like, oh, I mean, that joke's so much better than this joke. Like, it never feels unfair. You're always like, that
Yeah.
totally makes sense. And then now
What's-
you're just, I want the segment to be good, so whatever.
What's your guys' method for finding like the best jokes on Twitter to use?
You mean X? that's the point of contention.
I remember that Conan O'Brien case That was the one that went all the way to. Do you remember that?
No,
It
what
was,
is
it was
that?
Probably. I mean, it was a while ago where someone sued Conan O'Brien. They said that there were some jokes that he stole from Twitter, and they were all. It's one of those things. Whenever you look at a stolen joke, there's always or quote unquote stolen joke, an accusation. Like some, you're like, especially as a comedian,
Right.
you know more than most. You're like. Yeah, the joke is the person is a woman. They didn't have balls.
Right,
It's
right.
like,
Or like,
Yeah.
and then
You're
once
like,
in a while, there's like one or two details that seem really close. Someone did it recently. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw. They said they wrote the joke. The X is going down faster than Nancy Reagan in the MGM parking lot.
Right.
And they used that in an
Yeah.
episode of The Boys. And this person said that they wanted a co-writing credit on the episode
Yeah.
for the use of this, and people kind of ripped.
crazy.
People ripped them, and people. A lot of writers felt like they felt it was important to tear this person down because
Right.
they were like threatening a real writer. I don't know who wrote the episode. Maybe they're beloved or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It obviously it's gonna come up.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been accused. Back in the day, I was accused of like 3 times. I think of someone was like put 2 tweets next together.
Yeah.
But then what would happen is someone would find an older tweet.
you always
Right,
find an
right.
older
else
tweet,
did.
and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, someone else
but
did
it's
it too.
truly like monkeys writing in a room. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you give monkeys typewriters, they're gonna come up with Shakespeare kind of idea. Is like, we are 3 people or 4 people writing this all day long. A lot of times with the premise, all 4 of us will have the same joke. And that's
Yeah.
because when you give a premise, like you said, like you get the same result because it's math. Like you're sort of
Yeah.
putting a math together. And so you get the result. And then people are like, but I also had that result. And it's like, yeah, so
Yeah.
did 3 other people right next to me.
Yeah.
And we try to, whenever there's like all 4 of us wrote the same thing, we try to not do it because that means it's too obvious as a joke. So
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's why you
I
guys.
imagine that's why like some of the random stories from this woman in Florida, you're like, okay, not everyone on Twitter is going
Right.
to be thinking about.
and I'm
that
sure some of those
Yeah.
stories are 5 years old.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
there is there a little bit of that? Like some like this happened 10 years ago technically, but
No, we do some of that, but it will be like from earlier in the season when we tried that joke at dress rehearsal and we didn't make it to air, but it was a good joke, but we just didn't do it that episode. We'll bring it back like 2 episodes later or something.
Sure.
But that's just from like 3-4 weeks ago.
I think this is not. I believe me. I've talked enough shit on this, but Weekend Update is such a strong. I just think it's a strong element, and I think like
Yeah.
like of all the, because I feel like I mean I don't watch late show monologues very much anymore, but I love tight jokes. I could watch
Yeah.
I could watch Best of Norm Macdonald. I could watch Best of Johnny Carson even. Like I just
Yeah.
admire the structure of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every late night is so topical now.
Yeah.
And so obvious. I think Weekend Up. I think the the describing of the person's face.
Right.
Like here's Mitch McConnell looking at XYZ.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it still
yeah.
is very.
Funny. Yeah,
it's-
There's a
yeah.
lot of like joke.
Here's, yeah.
Yeah. Because you have to get into the topic, but you want to kind of
Yeah.
do a little palette.
is that
stuff
on the
and then-
page too? Is there a picture of Mitch and you got to come with 10?
Scene-
Yeah, yeah.
scene
You
here,
submit with the
you
picture.
know,
Yeah.
that's very funny.
I feel like that's the one I'd be the worst at. I'd be like seen here watching a baby get pooped on by a
God.
The
Like-
more random it is, the funnier it is,
Yeah.
though, because you're just like, what is he doing watching a baby? You know?
And I also feel like Weekend Update. It's still like push it like things where I'm like, whoa, you got
Yeah.
away with that.
Yeah, because they
yeah.
are kind of like they have that like thing where they're kind of grandfathered into a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, so they can get away with
Well,
it.
This
and
is
because
why-
of the tight joke structure, you can get in and get out. You
Yeah.
don't have to dwell too long in like
Yeah.
a certain thing. That if it's like, oh, we can go a little bit farther with this joke
Yeah.
because then it's on to the next, and it's
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they've built their personalities.
Yeah.
So it feels like one of them can say something that's in their voice.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you kind of forgive it because you're just like, that's just who he is.
Totally.
You know?
And that must be a Michael Chay element of like Michael Chay is like a like pushing it,
Right, right.
you know.
yeah.
And same with Norm Mac. I mean, that's why Norm Macdonald's I think jokes hold up so much. Is he was a
Yeah.
like oh my god,
Yeah.
you know,
and
so
had
nice.
such a voice. Like he had such a. You
Yeah.
can do a Norm joke even now. You can tell a joke and be like, "That's a Norm joke."
Totally.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if it's your joke, it's like a Norm voice joke. You know.
Do you feel when one of your jokes does really well?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go it still doesn't compare to when I'm telling it? Like
No.
not the joke, but
Yeah.
like the feeling of a joke working as a writer watching
yeah,
versus
totally.
you've got to fucking tell it.
Totally. I think like my stand-up's never topical, so like none of that ever makes it into stand-up. But yeah, writing your own joke and making that work on stage feels so good that you can have a great rest of the night just thinking about that. Like being like, oh my God, I made that joke work. And then whenever the show happens, I sort of like, I'm like watching and it feels good, but I kind of black out through the show. I will like be watching and then just kind of hold your breath that it goes well. And then when it's over and people are like, oh, what jokes were yours? I'm like, I have blacked out. Like, I don't
yeah.
remember what happened. I'd have to go back and watch it.
I would have
you know?
cards
Where-
with which jokes were mine, and I'd hand them out.
Where do you watch when it's happening? I mean, you're in the
We watch
building.
on the floor.
You watch on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever have a joke that fucking it tanked, and you go up and you go, hey, I'm sorry about that.
It was like one of the first jokes. It was like one of the first jokes I'd gotten in. It was like my, whatever. It was like the third joke or something I'd ever gotten in. And it was like a Kanye West joke. It was like when he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the joke was. It was just sort of like a Kanye joke. And that night, I saw my agent at the after party, and he was like, "Oh, I just saw a Deadline had an article, and they had mentioned how that joke brought a chill to the room." And I was, and my agent said this to me, not knowing that's my joke.
Oh man, bomb so hard. Deadline.
Yeah,
Deadline
wrote an article.
Wow.
wrote it that night. Someone watched this show, and by the after party, there was an article about it.
That is so funny.
And I was like, "Cool, that's awesome."
So you never have an urgent side.
chill.
When a joke does well, you don't have a friend or somewhere you want to be like, I wrote that one.
Yeah, I do. One time, I will like text a friend and be like,
Oh, yeah?
especially if I told them that joke before, like when I used to read
Yeah.
jokes to a friend, I would like tell them and be like, that one did really well. Especially when I used to call my friend and he would be like, I don't know if I like that one.
You'd be like,
And then it made it
"Actually,
on, and then
yeah."
it went well, and I'd be like, you should go watch it at about 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
It's so
That's the
brutal.
joke.
There's a couple jokes that I've told Tova first. Where she's like, I don't know, and when I really have to fight every time it does
Yeah.
well in front of her to be like,
Yeah.
You think I should cut it now? Still? Think I should cut it now? Still?
But then when it doesn't go well and they're watching and they told you it
I
wasn't going to
told her.
go well, it's the worst. Because you're just like, I was just having a bad night. I could have sold it better.
Yeah.
I'll do it again, just out of spite, you know?
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's a good job. It's a good way. It's, I think, the chillest, in a way, job.
Do you know why? I feel
At
like it
SNL.
has to do with
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, it's interesting because it feels like, again, with the quick jokes, like if it bombs or something, you're like, well, again, it's done quickly.
Right,
It's not like,
yeah.
you know, that horrible feeling of like, oh, we got to the reveal in a sketch
Yeah.
of what the joke is,
Yeah,
and
and they
then
don't
that
like it.
bombs, and then we all
We
have
have
the
3
memory
minutes of this.
of feeling like, "Whew, fuck
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
be rough the whole time."
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's so like stand up. Like
Yeah.
the joke structure is so much like stand up, or at least like my stand up already, that I think like it just makes you a sharper writer for yourself, and that feels good. Also, you never have the feeling of I worked all week on one thing.
Yeah.
And that one thing isn't on the show, which means I didn't do anything for this show.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
idea that I think plagues a lot of like the sketch writers, which is like obviously they contributed to the show in other ways, but like it would be devastating to be like, I worked so hard on this and we're gonna cut it.
Yeah.
I never have that because we're always gonna do Weekend Update.
Yeah.
So we're always gonna have that.
Do you help with like the character stuff, or is that
We do like rewrite tables for it
okay.
and stuff, and then sometimes like we'll write one ourselves and then submit it.
when you're done with this, do you want to be Weekend Update? Do you want to have politics or commenting on America and our government as part of your thing, or do you not really have an interest?
I feel like in stand-up, I never talk about politics.
Not
Like
100% true. You talked about the Texas. You talked about abortion. That's politics.
that's politics, but to me, that's more like a personal thing. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
like an abortion to a woman is a personal thing, but I'm not like, well, the Texas governor did this. You know, it's
Sure.
more like how does it affect my life rather than whatever
Do you think
the
it's
politics
possible?
of it.
Could it be possible to have an edgy, pro-life joke?
Yeah, I think
An
so.
edgy pro-life
like,
joke.
Honestly, Bill Burr had a pretty pro-life take. Maybe it was his last special where
What
he's
about
like,
the baking of the cake?
yeah, which is such a false equivalency, obviously, but like, yeah, I mean that's a pretty pro-life take.
Sure,
Of
but
being
but
like-
the silliness of it undermines
totally.
the believing of it.
And then also because he set it up by being like, I'm not pro-life. But
Yeah.
the take
Sure.
itself is pro-life. That you could say that as a sentence in a Trump rally, get an applause break. That's just a pro-life idea.
Didn't he say he's like, yeah, this kid's killing a baby? I'm fine with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's killing a
Exactly.
baby.
Yeah.
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 That's why Louis
Do
had
it in Trump voice. That's just something he says.
Sebastian Maniscalco, you're killing a baby. I think Louis, the beginning of 2017, his special, he had a long like. But if you think it's killing a baby, I get
Yes.
why you're upset.
That
Yeah.
And it was
yeah,
one of
yeah.
these
Being
like,
they think it's you
Yeah.
killing a baby.
and if you think it's
Yeah.
that,
yeah.
Yeah.
Then get out
Which
in the
is
streets.
actually his thing
maybe you're
was
not doing enough.
Yes, his thing was
Yeah.
you're not doing enough. He's
Yeah.
like, you're just holding up a sign. You think there's murder happening inside?
Oh yeah.
You should
That's a
do
good
more.
bit.
Yeah.
Good bit. Good
Good
bit.
bit. Great. Great comic. No, no. I talk shit on everyone except Louis. I'm like, oh, please.
All right. Well, now in service to the other fans of the pod, let's go back to talking about Wicked, the musical. No, so you were born in Nepal.
Yes.
Where's Nepal?
You're asking me? Mm-hmm. It's a famous one.
What country?
Why
what
are you
continent?
doing this?
What continent?
You what?
What continent?
Stop.
What?
Come on, there's so many
continent?
context clues.
There's-
We just talked
there's-
about the jokes and the hands,
Oh, India.
which is not a continent.
Not a
It's not a
continent.
continent.
Oh no.
Although kind of a subcontinent.
Yeah, pull out the map.
Yeah, pull up
Yeah,
the map.
I carry a map of Nepal with me.
Do you want a water or a seltzer or anything?
Oh no, I'm just getting a
sorry.
Zin. I'm sorry. I'm just,
Oh, a Zin. So you're a Zin.
Wait, what is
I'm a
Zin?
Zinite.
Is that something
No, I don't
the
think
kids
I
are
don't
saying?
think-
What is
I don't
Zin?
Careful,
think
because
kids
you
are
say
saying-
that,
Yeah,
we'll
people
walk
start-
around
yeah.
being like, "Oh, you're Zinite."
Zinite.
What is Zin?
It's a Zinite. That's like it's like the cool Zionists.
It's a shortened.
You don't know anything today. You don't know where Nepal is. You don't know what a Zin is. What
You
the
don't know
fuck
what a
do
Zin
you
is?
It's
know?
Asia. What? No, I don't know where it is.
No, you don't know what a Zin is?
No.
Now you don't even know what the question
No,
is.
I don't. I don't
You're
know what
losing
Zin
the
is.
plot.
What is Zin?
It's a pouch of cocaine. And you put it on your gums.
No.
No, it's nicotine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do know what Zin is. Someone
Can I-
else had one once.
Can
Remember?
I?
You
yeah,
took
someone
you
had
took
one?
one.
No, I was too scared to do it.
You were too
because
scared
it was
to do this?
it was late at night and I wanted to go to bed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, as someone who doesn't smoke cigarettes once a, will it be okay?
For you to do one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Can I do one? Do you want to do one?
No, I don't want to do one.
It doesn't feel great, I think, in your throat. I've heard the first time people do it, I think
do
they
it.
don't
Do
love
it now.
it.
Let's just see.
Okay,
But
so
just put it in between your upper lip and your gum.
my upper lip of my gum.
Yeah.
And what is this the equivalent of a cigarette?
Maybe a little less than a cigarette.
A little less than a cigarette.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's
And you don't have to spit. You can just swallow. Not the Zin itself. Don't swallow the Zin itself.
Okay.
But the spit, you can swallow your spit.
okay. I'll
Okay.
reference the pod. So
It does look kind of big. Like your lip looks bigger, but I don't think mine changes at all.
No, yours didn't change at all.
Yeah,
you
yours-
have a new face. You have
You have like a swollen
prosthetics.
cheek. What is happening?
well,
Where are you putting it?
you said upper lip, right?
No, that's not really how you
Upper
talk.
lip?
No,
like-
that's not how he's talking.
No, talk real.
Is it the upper lip?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You're not natural at it.
Yeah. Oh, we thought it was gonna. You think someone's first cigarette? They go, yeah, him. Yeah, what's going on? And, I always thought it was so funny. Like, cause acting, none of us smoke cigarettes because we're all healthy. Everyone's healthy now, and so we do an acting scene. And someone would have to play some cool '60s, dock worker, and take the cigarette like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
got to go home and beat the wife. Why? Why is
Have
this
to
so
go
popular?
home and beat the wife is so funny. I'm late. I have to
yeah.
go beat my wife.
Gotta go beat the wife.
Yeah, this
I'm
classic
gonna
Arthur Miller
miss
play.
the train to go beat my wife.
Why is this popular right now?
I think it's just I used to smoke cigarettes, so I quit, and then I did
I used to.
vape, and then
I still do,
quit.
but I used to too.
yeah.
Who's that
We
comedian?
just it's Mitch
I know,
Hedberg.
I know that
Oh.
you know.
Oh,
I know that you
I would have
know.
known. I don't know Mitch as well. I don't know that his stuff.
he's dead. He used to be, but he is dead too.
No.
Hey, look at that. I think of him every time I see a broken escalator.
Yes, me too. I
Every
was
time
just
I think of
talking
a
about
broken
that
escalator.
joke.
What's the joke?
Escalators can't break; they can just become stairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Which, by the way, I feel like in today's world would not get a pop.
No, no.
It would get
it's
like
too, it's too slight almost.
yeah.
But it's a very funny thing.
I'm sure Mitch had a couple. Like he's the kind of thing where like if you train the audience,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah,
applause,
perfect,
applause,
yeah.
applause. But when that audience is not trained, they're probably like,
Yeah.
this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah. I bet the road would have been hard
Yeah.
for him because you're kind of like in Minnesota or whatever, Mississippi.
Probably be
and-
so hard you'd start leaning on drugs
Heroin.
in a disproportionate
Oh,
way.
is that how he died?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wow. you were really out of the loop on
sorry,
stuff.
I am out of the loop.
He's just so rare. Like he like you could see he wore sunglasses.
He wore the
'cause
sunglasses.
was nervous,
I remember him.
and he didn't even make eye contact. At least I believe it's because he said it was like it made him calm, and he was just like so. It's so rare to have someone who like doesn't seem to like love the stage but needs the stage, and it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
it gives
yeah.
you a rare glimpse into a. Okay, so he tasted. It's flavorful.
Yeah, it's citrus.
I just started seeing a nutritionist. How many calories?
0.
Okay, good.
Negative actually because it curbs your appetite.
Oh.
Whoa.
So
I don't think that's how
instead of a
negative
meal,
works. Unless it makes me throw up. I don't think it's negative.
It does give you it gives you a throat thing
How long do I keep it in?
till the flavor kind of goes away. You'll feel it. You'll feel when it's time.
And
It's like
you-
a gum, you know.
Yeah.
But is it better than cigarettes?
Well, it helps me now. I can run. Like I was like really bad at running for a while, and I couldn't figure out what was happening.
No offense to Zen.
Like-
I don't think this is gonna teach me how to run.
It's not gonna
No,
teach
but
you.
like
I
she,
still
if you
gonna run like
smoked,
this.
Yeah.
you were having a hard time running because you were smoking.
yeah, but I wouldn't put those together
Yeah, I got it.
And I'm just explaining because
because you sounded stupid.
you
for a
sounded
second.
stupid.
Can you run with it in? Like I chew gum when I run.
Yeah, but that'd be kind of nuts. Don't.
So you gonna give me a little energy
Oh, but you know what I
boost?
do that people find really weird?
Uh-huh.
I go on stage with one in.
Really?
Yeah. Like for the whole hour, I'll have a Zin in my
Oh
mouth.
my god.
I know.
People would know. I'd go up there and be like,
Yeah, they would
So
know.
my
Yeah.
parents got their voice tonight. 7 years old.
You look like the elephant man.
I know what you're thinking. So my mom's Jewish. My dad's an elephant.
They're like, well, you know what that means? Divorced parents.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's changed now, but I certainly was of the time of you knew you were seeing someone green if they said either I know what you're thinking,
Oh yeah.
but then like so my dad's Adam Sandler. I look like my dad's Adam Sandler. My mom's Adam Sandler, and that was like an alt version
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
joke. That was a
Yeah.
twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, that
mom's
was a
Jewish. My
thing for a
dad's
while.
a bowl of ragu.
Yeah.
Or like I know I look like that's like the first
Yeah.
sentence out of their mouth.
Oh,
and then
I know. You're watching it, and they
You're
come up
already
like,
like-
I know what you're all thinking, or I know.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, come on.
I have
get me out
a
of
cheap
here.
version. Like I have JP McDade let me have it after a roast. He said in the roast, he said it looked like before I tell a joke. Before I tell a joke, it looks like I whisper to myself a 5, 6, 7, 8, and it was a great.
JP's such a good joke writer.
Great joke writer, and he and Maddie both had 2 really good roast jokes, and then I had one, and I didn't know quite how to frame it on stage, and I cheated. I essentially say. Once I did a show hosted by a drag queen, she told me to take it down a notch, and then I have her tell the other 2 jokes to me, and it's
Yeah,
cheating
yeah,
of a looks
yeah.
like joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a
Yeah,
good way to go.
it's a good way.
You
So-
have to cheat though. There's like because everything becomes hack, but that doesn't mean they're not good. You just have
Totally.
to cheat.
And look,
you know?
a good looks like joke. I mean, 5,
Still
6, 7,
works.
8 is
Yeah.
better because it's not. I look like Jeff Goldblum if he was gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since we have a professional writer, because
Yeah.
Russell never gets to do those. If you're Russell, you're writing for Russell. He blows up. He decides to, against all my advice, go on a stand-up
Oh,
tour.
he's
His
gonna
agent
blow up
say,
more than this. I'm kidding.
Oh my god! Wow.
So
It's so sad. He's going to make me cut that when we put this up.
No. I love a good fat joke.
I can feel it. My head is buzzy.
yeah.
Yeah, you look.
You're looking crazy.
Yeah, you're out of your mind, man.
How many do you do a day? Because I can really see incorporating this. In
I
my
had
life.
quit. I'd quit completely. And I was very proud of myself for quitting. And now I'm really stressed. And I had the audition for The Cellar last week. And I got really stressed. So I was
you
like,
get
let's
in?
get back on this. Yes.
Congratulations.
So yesterday was my first day.
Congrats.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
That's very exciting.
And so
Very
yesterday,
cool.
I think I took like 10 because I was like stressed all day. And I was like, I don't want to eat.
You go and you do your full 5 minutes in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just rush through it.
Oh God, I
It helps with anxiety
do.
sometimes, but it makes you
Don't
sometimes
tell
more
me that.
anxious.
I'll become addicted to this in a second.
No,
This is amazing.
don't do it.
Is it bad though? Is it what's the? I mean, is it then is
There's like no research on it, so you know.
it's too?
It can't be good for the gums to just lay tobacco next to it, right?
It's not tobacco. It's
What is it?
nicotine salts.
Wait, is it not bad for you?
I think it's not bad for you.
Oh,
I think it's just a vice for the sake
You're
of
gonna
being a
use
vice.
this footage in a documentary someday. I think it's not bad for you at all.
I'm like missing a whole jaw.
2024. They didn't know anything. It's like those when you look in the 50s about cigarettes and people were just crazy. Like, it's not
Yeah.
fine. You can smoke it with your baby can smoke it.
It curbs your appetite.
You put it in the pacifier.
Yeah.
Oh man, when you quit and then got back on it, did you have like how they'll have a scene where an alcoholic who quit, he's like talking to the bottle?
Yeah.
Are you like talking to the Zin case? The Zin's like, hey, you feel ready for that Cellar audition?
No, it was more like I already had a Zyn in my apartment, and I do this thing. I still have cigarettes in my apartment where I'm like testing that I am mentally over it.
Yeah.
That's what you do in your life. You leave little challenges along the way.
Yes. So like when I'm not drinking, I'll still have alcohol in my apartment. So I can be like, I could, but
Let
I
me just
choose
add a
not
trigger
to.
warning. If you struggle with substance abuse,
yeah.
don't
Don't do
try
this.
to challenge yourself.
And then I cave immediately.
I get that. I have a little bit of that. Like,
Yeah. It's like a sort of competition thing, I think, where you're like, I'm above that, But then I was like, well, today I should just kind of do whatever it takes to get on this, mindset. So I was like, I'll cave in immediately. And now I'm like, this is kind of nice.
Does this give you energy? Because I could see myself rolling over in the morning, a little sleepy.
There's energy to it. It will fuck up your sleep a little bit. It will fuck up
You
your
already
sleep a little bit.
notoriously struggle
Yeah.
with sleep.
Yeah,
Struggle with
same,
sleep. My girlfriend
same.
has night terrors.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
You're gonna
about
be
to have a
fine
breakdown.
tonight. Listen, it's
gonna
early
have a-
enough. You'll be
No,
fine.
Russell,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not because I'm going to do 10 more of these today.
Oh my God, you're addicted
Go on
already.
a run
I
after
knew I
this,
shouldn't
you'll
have
be
tried it. I
tired.
knew I shouldn't have tried it. It's so...
You like it that much?
It's so good.
Well, like, I'm definitely like buzzier than I should be for a podcast taping, for sure. And I do feel it in my throat now.
Yeah, it gets to your throat.
But I-
That means
Let
it's
me-
getting
But if
good.
you tried to take it
It's
out of my
getting
mouth,
good.
I'd kill you.
All right, let me pour you some
Immediately
Jim
addict.
Gaffigan scotch. Bring this down.
This is like the lame, like back in the day, comedians, they'd be doing coke, and you're like, we'll give you a little bit of scotch,
Yeah.
one Zin, and I'm like, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Cigarettes. When was your first cigarette?
I was like, I used to just smoke when I was drinking, and then I was living in Egypt, and everyone was smoking.
Because that's where Nepal is.
Yeah, it's in Egypt.
Where is Nepal? Please
It's
tell us.
right above India and right below China. So it's like a really small country in between those.
I was close.
After I said 20 hands. You're like, oh, right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm going to take a swing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're both like, there's certain areas of life that we are astoundingly dumb.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and stupid in some other
Because
ways.
you guys were
Yeah.
singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too busy
Yeah.
singing.
Yeah.
Too busy singing The King and I and being like that. He was from Nepal, right? He was the king of Nepal.
Siam.
A truly like beautiful racist musical.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I don't know the show very well.
there's the song I was about to sing it. I was like, no, you can't. But he sings, I think the lyrics are, there are times I am not sure of. He sings in a broken English
I'm
way.
so nervous. What is it?
Isn't there a Julia Stone? Wait, Julia Stone? No. Isn't there a movie, The King and I? I watched this movie.
They
with
made a movie of it, yeah.
With
Yeah.
the girl from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, really?
They remade it?
Right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I believe you.
I sang it in like a Rodgers and Hammerstein. There's a lot of things in Rodgers and Hammerstein that they adjust or they keep. My favorite is in Carousel, and they cut it from the revival. And I don't think you should.
No.
I don't think you should. But Broadway these days, you gotta. They changed it. So the guy dies, and the father dies, and his wife, the ghost visits the daughter, and hits the daughter at some point.
The ghost hits the daughter.
The ghost hits the daughter, and she
For
goes.
what?
Why?
Because she was talking back. Because dinner wasn't that good, and she goes to her mom and says, "Mommy, can a man ever hit you and feel like a kiss?" And the mom goes, "Yes."
Oh, that's a Lana Del Rey lyric. He hit me and it felt like a kiss.
It is a Rodgers and Hammerstein lyric.
Oh, she stole it.
She stole it. She stole it.
She stole it from.
And I think they cut it. I think they changed it for the revival. Mommy.
And she turned and she goes, "No, vote him out." Like,
She's wearing a Hillary shirt.
that was the joke I was going to make. My joke was going to be, Mommy, should you vote for Biden no matter how much money he gives to Israel? Yes, sweetheart. Yes. And then Hillary comes out and everyone stands.
To leave. They still hate her.
So there's that. South Pacific is one of my favorites because a classic musical theater song is Younger Than Springtime. And that song is a soldier singing to the sex worker he's fallen in love with that his favorite thing about her
Oh no,
is
it's
just
how young she is.
And the song is Younger Than Springtime.
Oh my God.
Springtime's
Springtime's really young.
Springtime
Yeah.
is really young.
Yeah, the leaves are like this
Springtime is
big.
barely
It's
legal.
insane. Yeah.
The hairs are just there.
I have an idea of instead of barely legal porn, you do barely illegal porn where she's 17 months, 17 years and 8 months old.
Barely illegal.
It
So
is
it's right there.
porn. I think is so much like what society was like 50 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not all the way. It's not
No.
like no holds barred.
Right.
But it's definitely like you know how when an adult describes someone and the first thing they say is black guy.
Right.
Whereas opposed to me, it's like you got to force that adjective out of me.
Yeah.
You got to force it. They go, what color was he?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Did it go his shirt?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
It was dark in the room.
Yeah.
Which is somehow worse than just saying he's black. I couldn't see him. What?
I was gonna say it, and I said, "Don't say it. Let the Asian person
Yeah,
say
yeah.
it."
I'm here to co-sign on stuff.
This is a delicate question, but certainly, being Asian, you can there's certain race commentary that you
Yeah.
might feel more comfortable making.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a line that you have to figure out.
Yeah. I think it goes back to just you get a little more leeway, but you can't just say hateful stuff. You know what I mean?
year in your comedy career did you stop saying the N-word for good?
For good. Oh, maybe.
Don't limit her.
They'll play this in
You
the
mean on
documentary.
stage or off stage?
Okay. Enough comedy talk.
Okay.
You were born in Nepal.
Yes. I moved here when I was 12. I moved to Georgia.
But so in Nepal, you went to a boarding school.
Yes.
When
I
you
went
were
to a
very
boarding
young.
school. Yes.
Is that common or is that rich?
It's well, it's not. It's like it's common-ish in the sense that everyone I knew went to boarding school because that's where I knew them from. So it felt common, but it's not like rich.
More common than in America. A young boarding school is rare-ish.
It's
in America.
more common than in America, I think, in some ways. Yeah, definitely. But it was weird because my mom is a stay-at-home mom. But she sent us
Which
to
is even
boarding
easier when your
school.
kid's at boarding
Yeah.
school. you're like,
So you're
I want to
just-
quit this whole stay-at-home
Yeah,
mom
you're
thing.
just stay at home then.
Yeah.
You're just so it was pretty common, I think. But then obviously there's a huge disparity in lifestyles in Nepal because there's also a population of kids who are just not going to school. So I wouldn't say it's like extremely common. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I was young and everyone
Yeah.
I knew was doing the same thing. So I'm like, yeah, of course that's common, but I don't know what everyone else is doing, you know?
I am going to take the Zen out because I think I have a headache from it.
Oh my God.
that possible?
Yeah, you should take it out.
Quickly,
Take it out because I
quick
think
before
you're.
it gets really bad.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
It's stuck in there.
No.
No, this is gross. What do I do with this?
Throw it away.
Just
Put it on your
put it
little
off to
thing.
the side for a sec. Oh, there.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Can you ever put it in a Diet Coke and have a little Zen?
That's a great idea.
Like a
I'm
little
gonna
tea?
try that.
Oh, boy. All right, you got to take over. I'm dead.
Okay. Wait, what year did you move to Georgia?
2007.
And sorry, how old were you? Like what?
I was
like
12
Okay.
or almost 13.
Got it.
Yeah.
Um,
So in middle school.
and did you like going to boarding school at a young age?
Yeah. I really liked it. It was weird though because I grew up in boarding school, so everyone I knew was always around me all the time.
Summer break, or what were breaks like there? What did they do?
Yeah, you get a lot of breaks. You don't have as long for summer, but we have a lot of festivals and stuff. So you go you get a month off 3 times a
What
year.
kind of festivals?
We'll just have a religious holiday, but it'll be in October, so you get all of October off, and then December we still do Christmas stuff, so we get December off. And
Was your family religious? Believed it?
yeah, my family was pretty religious, but not more we wouldn't go to temple all the time because it's not a thing. We don't have to do it once a week. You just go whenever you go.
Really?
Yeah. There's not a day, you know how Sunday you go to church. There's not a day in Hinduism.
By the way,
where
Russell,
you
what
go.
religion are we talking about right now?
I don't know.
All right, Hindu?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna guess that, but then it feels weird to guess wrong. Okay. But wait, so is there someone for religious ceremonies? If there's not a set date, is someone just there?
Yeah, there's a priest usually. Usually the temple's just open for you. You just go
yeah.
in.
Okay.
And you just sit?
There's not really a seating area. You just kind of visit the god. You leave some food. Usually, there's a lot of monkeys at the temple because you left a lot of food. So you leave
wild monkeys?
Yeah, so it's city monkeys. They just
Of course.
they're cool. They get the fruit from there, and then they try to steal stuff from you. So
But
they'll,
do they
take
shoo
your
the monkeys
phone.
out?
No, there's just too many of them. It's
Wait, there's just...
yeah.
Is there any equivalent
Have you seen those videos from Thailand where
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah.
a street full of monkeys?
I don't
It's
think
like
I've
that.
seen these.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Would you pet a wild monkey?
Yeah. We had a little monkey.
Did you?
Yeah.
I really like monkeys.
I like monkeys in theory, but I feel like it's one of those things you're like,
know.
I
Yeah,
love
they
monkeys.
get really aggressive. When they get horny, they get aggressive.
I know. I
Yeah.
think it's one of those things where it always looks like it'd be really cool.
It would be really cool,
I
yeah.
have a dream of if things didn't work out in life. I don't know if this is a job.
You have this as a dream.
If I'm down and out, I would move to a sanctuary that
Right.
has orphaned chimps and gorillas.
Yeah.
And because I think when they're that young, it's okay, I can deal with it's before they can kill you.
Yeah. And then they learn not to kill you. kind of.
Yeah. And then I'm just kind of doing that,
Yeah.
Mainly having a bottle with them and getting to know. I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
But I do think that they get really aggressive.
They get
quickly.
aggressive.
I don't know if you're
quickly.
obsessed with them. I've never heard of this.
Well, listen, I'll show
gonna-
you my Instagram when you look at my
I
thing.
promise
It's
we're not going to
all-
stop the
It's all
podcast.
monkeys.
I'm going to eat some almonds right now.
Oh my God.
I feel so
Oh
buzzy.
my God.
It's fine.
We've ruined you. Oh, no.
Wait, are we stopping?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay, we'll just
no.
talk about monkeys. Well, I can't believe are you
I
still?
was like, it's gonna curb your appetite. He's like, I need to
He's
eat
like, I
something.
need
I feel like the
almonds
color is
now.
leaving your face. What is
wow.
happening?
So you're not gonna
What the
be
hell?
going into this lifestyle, this Zen lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Wow. I don't think you can handle it, man.
This is a 3 milligram too. It's
This
not
is
even
all
like a
a
6.
PSA
What
against
the hell?
Zen.
This is gonna be in the doc.
Yeah. Look how quickly it impacted this podcast. host.
My head itches.
Your head itches.
I'm hot. I feel spacey.
You look.
Get some water.
Yeah, you need water or
Get some
something.
water.
Could you spare one of the 2 water bottles?
Yeah. You do look like your color has been impacted.
What about monkeys, please?
okay, so but the monkeys they're wild.
Yeah,
you know,
they just hang out there.
Yeah.
And no one does anything because we like.
they're fun. They're taking food. They're not
Yeah.
really hurting anyone.
And like animals are a big part of the religion, so
Yeah.
you're just kind of like, this is cool. They'll like try to mimic humans a lot. So they do this thing where like if you were wearing a shawl, which you wear to the temple, they will steal the shawl and they will wear it the way you wear
Oh.
it. It's kind of cute.
Oh,
But
it's very
you can't
cute.
try to take it back from them because they run in like, they have like a big tribe usually, and they will have like competing tribes and stuff. So they will all attack you if you try to take something back from them.
Anyone ever die?
I don't know. They don't report that a lot. But there's not a
monkeys
lot
covered
of there's
up.
not a lot of great reporting on this.
There's got to been attacks here and
yeah,
there.
there's definitely
yeah.
attacks. Yeah.
Wow.
How do you feed a monkey? Like is it like a horse? Like
What
with a
do
horse?
you mean? You hand it to them?
Yeah, but you're
no,
not
like
supposed
with
to
a
feed them.
horse. Because I know because my dad had horses.
Oh yeah, you can't. Like
You have to.
Yeah.
You do it like this.
Oh,
So
why?
they don't bite off your fingers.
They don't bite your fingers off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Same
How-
with cows. Correct.
Whoa. Wait, why? So if you go like this, they eat the whole hand?
I was saying like I think horses.
Yeah, if you're
Horses
doing
are
this,
horses
yeah.
are like little. They're just going. "Argh."
Oh.
It's not. I don't think they always do it, but I was taught be careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm. I would love to live in a world with monkeys.
Yeah, that part was good. Boarding school was pretty fun. I went to a Catholic one, so
Uh-huh.
just a bunch of nuns.
Were there a lot of Catholic schools
No.
there?
Oh, no, not a lot of Catholic schools.
Why,
no.
if your parents were religious, why would they send you to?
They're not like Hinduism's very chill. You can be anything, and they're just like Hinduism has this clause where you can have many gods. So whatever god you have, you're technically
And they're
enveloped
okay with
in.
the Catholics being like, just so you know, this is the one true one.
Well, the Catholics weren't allowed to say that.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, so they would tell you about Jesus, but it was very like hidden. Like it wasn't like we're gonna read the Bible kind of place. It was like the Catholic school was started there because it's this Catholic school at St. Mary's. It used to be because the royal family didn't want to send their daughters abroad, so they built this school for them. And then it was an all-girl school so that they could be like not exposed to boys and stuff. And so it was the school that the royals built, and then you.
Has anyone made a picture of Jesus and he has the 8 hands and all 8 of them had to get a nail?
Are the nuns in nun
Yeah.
like
In the full
full-
regalia.
full regalia?
Did they talk? Did you have religion class?
We had a class called Moral Values, which was our religion class, where she would the nun would say stuff, but she would always kick me out of that class.
Really?
So I
Why?
have no values. Because I would talk and stuff, normal kid stuff. And then I used to have recurring nightmares about this nun, where we're in a hotel and she could shapeshift, well into my adulthood.
What did she turn
Really?
into?
Just you would think it's your friend, and when you approach her, she turns around and it's the nun.
Why? Why do you think that was a nightmare you had?
Because she was scary. She was also like my rhythm teacher, so she was like a drummer. She was like, she would like hit you with the drumstick if you did it wrong.
A drumstick?
Yeah, because we were like playing drums, and if you played it wrong, she'd like.
If you were really
Hate
bad,
you.
did she ever go like, "I'm giving you the Inagata Davida"? Damn it, son of a bitch! Neither of you.
What is that?
Inagata Davida. I think it's actually in the Garden of Eden, but it sounds like he's saying
Inagata
Inagata Davida.
Davida.
It's like a 12-minute song that has like a 5-minute drum solo.
Oh.
And I just love the. It would have been real. If
It
there were
would've
3
been
people
really
who knew the
yeah.
reference.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
like,
Yeah.
boom, I mean, she'd be hitting you
so long.
so
In
long.
for 5 minutes.
Wait, like a drumstick.
Yeah.
Did she ever do a little twirl? As she said,
Honestly, I was always like, so how did you become a nun? Because you were so good at drums. So she must have had this like whole past life.
Yeah.
Where she was,
in America, they used a ruler, as far as I was been told.
Well, they weren't supposed to hit us at all.
Mm.
But I think that's like, my mom used to do this thing where every time you'd be like, they hit us, she'd be like, no way. But now as an adult, I'm like, she definitely knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lunch monitor one time accidentally broke a broom on my back.
What?
when
A
I was
lunch
kid.
monitor?
Yeah. She was like
God.
doing it as like a going around and being like making sure everyone was sitting properly in lunch.
What?
And she was doing it and she swung like, I don't know, so much harder and hit me and it broke the broom. And like it was a plastic broom. Like
was she doing it like up, or was she going like?
She was kind of like from close by doing kind of like a thing to most people, but like something happened. She broke it on me, and
Did it hurt?
No, I don't remember it hurting, but I remember being shocked that a broom was broken on my back.
I'm shocked right now.
Insane, yeah.
And there were no repercussions for that.
Some adults are just so crazy. It's like it's a child having lunch.
Did you tell your
at
parents?
school?
I mean, my mom was a teacher in the school when it happened. I was in elementary school.
Maybe your mom went to her like, I need you to help
Yeah.
Russell would not sit up straight. It is. I as a liberal TM, I am always just like anti all physical punishment. And then you get older,
and you're like,
and
it
you
kind
go
of
like,
works.
Does this work ever? Is this ever appropriate? A little.
A little bit of slap. My parents never hit me though. I
No.
think they tried to like export
Because Casey,
that.
they
Yeah,
outsourced it.
Yeah, they outsourced
Yeah.
it,
They outsourced
and
the
it
abuse.
worked. Because then
Yeah.
I was still like, oh, my parents are so nice. They would
yeah,
never.
they would never.
and they would
never.
always
They'd
be
just send
appalled.
me to a.
They're always like, whoa, that's crazy. They did that.
I guess I don't know. There's something I just find so hard to square about like someone who is a nun who believes in Catholic teachings being like, well, we're gonna kind of soften it. The idea of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
softened religion
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
nun.
Yeah. Because they've chosen a pretty hard life. Like they've chosen like a sort of hard line. I'm gonna commit to this sort of thing. So
I feel it's a
So they
little bit.
project
I mean, being a nun is a little bit incelly. There's a
Yeah.
little bit of like,
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
they're virgins. I guess it's more like not incel, like voluntary cell.
But
Sure,
like,
Vol-
but I'm
cell.
sure some of them became.
yeah.
Because
Sure,
they
it's-
couldn't get dick,
I
and they
let-
became nuns.
I think some of them probably. I don't want to be. But come on,
What,
some of them.
What, you don't want to offend the nuns? Is that the new line of the podcast? We don't want to offend the nuns? It'll be a pretty boring podcast.
Your Vatican audience is appalled.
I'm feeling better, but I want
Oh,
you to
that's good.
know.
You were.
There
I
was-
was
there
nervous
was-
for
there
you.
was-
As your
It
friend who
affected
knows
you.
you.
First of all, I'm
as a
not-
friend who knows you well, you were. You, that was bad.
That
I'm
was
not
really bad.
100% over the hill. But
Yeah.
there was a moment
You were gonna throw up.
that I was
Yeah.
gonna have to go in there and like maybe throw up.
And you know
would've
what's
been-
funny is I told you it was negative calories, and you could have
See?
thrown up.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was really fun for like 4 minutes. It was like taking an edible where I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
I
and you're
took more Zyn than I should have. What was in that Zyn? So did you believe in the religion when you were younger, or maybe you still are? I don't know.
No, I don't think I ever was like, this is all real. Well, like I believed in religion the way like a lot of kids do, where it's like when something bad's about to happen, you're like, now there's a God. You know, like I have a
Which
test.
God was the God you would pray to if it was like?
We have like different ones for studying. I would pray to like the God of studying. We had like a God of studying.
What do they look like?
She is on like a. She's very. They all look kind of the same. Busty.
Are they all busty?
Are
Yeah. Have you seen like Indian
they?
goddesses?
No, I'm about to though. I'm like,
And you know she can jerk you off with 8 hands.
it's great because I have 8 people.
I don't know what kind of dick you think Russell has. That we're like, we need 7 more hands in this thing.
Thank God. Oh, thank God.
I would see it more like you get a hand job and a shoulder rub.
Right,
Like that's
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
more.
and a head rub.
And a head. I mean, honestly, and we
Yeah,
know.
you get a lot of
we know.
Yeah.
That's what you need the 3 hands for.
To fist you.
It seems
So
whenever
yeah, I don't believe in religion.
whenever I hear about, I mean, the only time I think we talked about Hinduism, we had Hari Gandabolo on the podcast, and it just seems like so much more like cool stories, and
Yeah, it's very myth based. Like
you have
very
action figures.
No, but you know, it's pretty much the same. People believe, like archaeologists, whatever, believe that it's the same root religion as what the Greeks had and the Romans had. So we have a lot of like similar tropes in it. So like our king of the gods also wields thunder, just like Zeus. So it's a lot of like similar characters basically.
Sure.
And then, you know, you have like the other stories that all civilizations have, like flood. And then we have a lot of war stories. And that's to like teach you about your duty. So duty is like the biggest thing in the Hinduism. You just follow your duty.
Are there any, with this lax approach, are there any like, Catholicism has like, it's homophobic or it's anti-abortion. Like, how does Hinduism stack in terms of liberal values?
So there's like this thing where it used to be, I think, on its own, more open-minded. So abortion has been just kind of fine in India, almost a problem because they were aborting girls a lot more. So it's been fine. But I think with colonization, you come in with Christian ideas that then get diluted into Hinduism. And then it becomes like a little more strict, which is like a problem, I think, in a lot of African countries too, is a lot of those old ideas that were more open are being overshadowed by newer ideas that are actually a product of globalization. But like we used to have, trans people were not only like okay, but they give you blessings on like a big event. Like they're supposed to come and give you a blessing because it's believed that they have like multiple souls that live inside them. So you can, and now.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And now there's like a shift in culture where people are becoming more hardline. But like I said, it's like a product of consuming a lot of media that's from outside and also from colonization and getting these ideas about modernization that actually end up being the opposite of modernization.
Is it just as misogynistic as Abrahamic religions? Because I mean, Abrahamic religions, at least what I understand, there's no female gods,
Right.
To be like, hey.
I think like misogyny is built into the culture, but again, like because we have these goddesses, like it's weird. The way misogyny exists in it is very like cognitive dissonant. Like we have these goddesses, but also it's a misogynistic society. So I think that's just like a product of like practicing versus preaching. Like in preaching, you're talking about goddesses who are really powerful and are like murderers, like goddesses that are like bad and goddesses that are good, and it's all these things. But then in practice, there is a lot of misogyny.
So you were at this boarding school. Were you? Because I know enough to know from another podcast I listened to that you were on that you're smart.
Oh,
You have a Fulbright.
so you know this from a podcast, not from knowing me in person.
No, nothing is
You're
indicated.
like-
You tried to poison me. I know that.
That was a smart move on my part.
Yeah.
Guess who's the boss of this podcast now?
No, you have a Fulbright, which is obviously a dumb person way to be like, whoa. It's you went to Oxford. You have a Fulbright. Were you always a good student, or was everyone a good student?
I was like not a very good student compared to my friends. Like my friends are very good students, and I was like not a very good student. Or my sister, she's a very good student. I was like, oh, whatever, smoking cigarettes, whatever, drinking a lot, and then I was in college and I was drinking a lot. But I had a lot of credits from like you come in with credits. So then I just left a year earlier, and then I just took a year off
To drink more.
Yeah, to drink more.
Yeah.
No, I went back to Nepal for like half a year, but I like finished college when I was 20, which gave me a lot of time to like do other shit and figure out what I wanted to do, and then I started doing comedy when I was doing Teach for America.
So your parents left Nepal
Yeah.
while you were still at boarding school.
Yeah.
Why?
We had like a civil war, but to get asylum in America, you kind of want to prove that you're going to come back to your country. So the easiest way, because the point of asylum is that you come back when the situation's fixed. And so a good way to prove that is to be like, I'm leaving my kids here.
Oh.
Right. Because they did have plans to come back. Because they had they're like sending kids to boarding school, and now we have to go to like public school in America. And
Yeah.
So
Was the Civil War to a degree where they should have been more scared, or were you in a part of Nepal that it's like the kids are going to be safe here?
well, they put us in boarding school because I think they thought it was safer than the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
When they went to America, were they checking in on you often? Were they?
yeah, they would like call, but this was like before FaceTime and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
just like a phone call. We would
Yeah.
get like a phone call from like you had to get a calling card and then call, and then
Did
and
you
your
miss
mom's
them?
crying on the phone, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta go play. Jesus.
Was she crying? Was she emotional?
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
They're loving parents. They're not. Unlike you.
I mean, look, if I were to write a Wikipedia based on your don't tell set, I'd say it was a fucked up household.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like like emotional unavailability in parents is like a product of their parents probably, and they're trying to do the best. But it was like a very doting mom, like extremely, and a very sort of like blasé father, which I think is a pretty common
Sure.
idea.
And do you remember when that Civil War was going on? Like, did you grow up with anxiety about it? Were you?
Yeah, in hindsight, I realized it was anxiety about it. Like I used to do this thing in boarding school where we would all be in a dorm, and in my head I'd be like, well, like the communists could like. In my head, they were like boogeymen. Like it's like this idea of like something that's a threat, even though Kathmandu itself was never like ambushed. We're a valley, so it's easy to protect.
Yeah.
And we're the capital, so they protected the capital. But I used to have this idea that they could come in any moment. So I would I broke down this one bed that was already kind of broken, and I took all the slats of wood that were in it, and I gave it to like all the girls so they could have a piece of wood next to their bed in case the communists come, we can fight them.
Oh my God.
And so now I realize like that's clearly a lot of anxiety about it. But at the time, I was like, this is a pretty good idea. Because they would obviously come with guns. So it's like crazy to have like a group of girls with bedposts. But yeah.
Then why did your parents not go back?
I think they were like, well, we could just build a life here and it will probably give them more opportunities. And
And they were able to just was America where they would chill about it, or like bringing the kids over? Because as you said,
they got a lawyer and they hammered it out with a lawyer, I think.
And they went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Why Atlanta? It feels very.
Because they had a sister. My mom had a sister there. Yeah.
Oh, I
She went
see.
to college in Georgia, so
Was it hard to leave Nepal? How old were you when you went to Atlanta?
like 12.
It's hard.
Yeah. It was like hard because my English wasn't like great. And kids in Georgia don't know any foreigners. Like in
Yeah.
suburban Georgia, it's not like full of, diversity or whatever. And I didn't know because I hadn't made a friend since first grade because I knew all the kids I grew up with. So it's
Sure.
like, I don't know how to be in a new environment. And so it was just kind of like, it would be a lot of like things where looking back, I'm like, wow, that's such a crazy thing to say to someone. It would be like someone would give me a compliment, but it was just American compliments are just so like weird when you're not used to it. It's
Like
just
what?
like a
Tell me.
cultural shock. Like I remember one time someone said something. It was a very Mean Girls thing where it was like, in Mean Girls where she's like, oh, so you're pretty. You're pretty kind of thing. But it was more like, oh, so you're cute. And I was like, oh, is everyone in Nepal as cute as you? That's what someone said to me. And then I was like, no. Because in my head, I was like, what is this question? It
Yeah.
didn't register to me as a compliment. It registered to me as someone being like, does everyone look like this?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I
Yeah.
was like,
Sure.
no, I look like me and other people look like themselves. And whatever
Yeah.
that is just that.
Yeah.
And this is this, So it didn't, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
But then also like getting bullied didn't register with me because I would get bullied about something.
If they're like, does everyone in Nepal look like you?
Yeah. Yeah. They're
And
like,
you were
is
like,
everyone?
no, they're different.
Yeah.
We went over this.
Or like someone was like, your accent is like weird or something. And I was like, what is an accent? Because I was just like,
yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. When I hear myself, I speak perfect English. So
Yeah.
I don't hear this thing you're talking about. So it was like,
I don't think if I knew you out of context, I would any trace of speaking differently, I could easily associate with just a different part of America.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think it was worse when I just got here.
Can you turn it up?
Every time I try to do any accent, like I try to do Sebastian Maniscalco when we're hanging out because everyone's doing an impression, and I'm
yeah.
like,
People complain about all the time. They're like, "Oh, Casey's here. She's gonna do her Sebastian."
I'm like, let me try my Sebastian Maniscalco, and we're outside Sesh the other night, and I was like, all right, my turn, and then I do it, and they were all like, you sound Indian. It's just like an Indian Sebastian Maniscalco.
I wish I knew enough to be
Which
like
is so good.
that would be like Sebastian Maniscal. I couldn't think of it.
Calcutta.
Oh.
I'd be like Sebastian Manis Calcutta.
Yeah. I was gonna do something more offensive.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Sebastian. Why would you ask me that? Sebastian Maniscal Gindaloo.
Oh, that could be good. That's good.
Could that work?
Yeah, that could work. Like Vindaloo.
Yeah.
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 What would yours be?
I had the Calcutta one, too.
That's
So-
good.
He won't do it here, but he does a great Indian accent. Shut up. Very well
it.
practiced.
No, I
Do it.
actually don't do accents at all.
So you stay in touch with your friends back in Nepal? Were you mad that you left? Like, did you go like, I don't want to leave?
Well, I was like pretty excited because I was like, I want to see my parents.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I was still a kid. You
I
know,
can't
and when
relate to
you're
that
a
because I
kid,
came from a structured but loveless home.
such a good sentence. Too. What a
Structured
great
but
way.
loveless.
What a great way to put it. Yeah, because when you're young and you're still like, my parents are great.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was excited, and then I would like IM them or whatever, my friends back home.
So then where you go to college here?
Yeah,
Where?
University of Georgia.
University of Georgia. And what was your major?
International Affairs and Arabic.
Did you like comedy at the time?
I liked stand up, like to watch. I never in 100, like I was never like, I want to do this.
Do you have a dark sense of humor? Or like, I imagine a dark sense of humor usually means you look around at things and go, well, this is bullshit. Well, that's
Yeah.
bullshit.
I think like, okay, I was looking back at like my high school yearbook the other day because I found like 3 of them. And it was all like people being like, oh, you're so funny. And I remember being in high school and being like, I'm so serious. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
like I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, oh, maybe I was funny. But it was like, it doesn't register when you're not going for that track, when you're like, I'm trying to do something academic or whatever.
So then you graduate and you become a teacher. What you call Teach for America?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that program? What's the premise?
They like send you to a high need school that doesn't have enough teachers. And they send.
Can it be in America too, or just overseas?
It's in America.
In America.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to Memphis to
That's
teach.
where my girlfriend grew up.
Oh,
a portion of. She
really?
New Orleans and then moved to Memphis after Katrina.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Southern. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you feel Southern?
I feel Southern in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in like Atlanta and then like I lived in Memphis. I lived in Nashville, Austin. Like I feel like feeling Southern is kind of like, I just think there's a different vibe in the North. And I like the Southern vibe. It's like friendly. And I know everyone's like, it's like fake friendly, but I don't care. Just be fake friendly. Like,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
cares? Just let's get through the day together and
Yeah.
we'll just get to the end of it, you know?
Yeah.
That's every day. So
How are you as a teacher? Good? Bad?
I was good on paper. I don't know how I was like,
Did you like it?
I didn't love it.
Because I student taught and I hate it.
Yeah.
The way he describes it, he's described teaching, it's like none of the things. You
got
never
nothing
talk
out
about
of
the
it.
way that like
Yeah.
the way you're talented as a
Yeah.
performer. It doesn't seem like any of those
I
skills
was
came
like,
into
they'd be
play.
like, and then they learned how, because I was music. And they're like, then they learned how to play the recorder, and I would be like, I don't care. Like, to
Yeah,
me, like
yeah, yeah.
nothing, no achievement
Right,
that
right,
a
right.
student had any impact on me. I
Okay.
had no. I mean, I liked. I think if anything, I would make me sad. You'd be like, there'd be kids like
Yeah.
going through real shit, and you have to see it, and you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
You're not like, so you just be like, oh, I learned this horrible thing about their
Yeah.
their life that they
you had to tell the principal.
No, not even that. It's like just like stuff that's like, oh, and then their dad's in jail and
Right,
blah blah blah.
right.
And you'd be like, oh god, like you're like, I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine having like years and years and years of stories like that,
Yeah.
like making you sad every day. You know what I mean? Like being
it's like emotionally draining
Yeah.
for sure.
He worked
like,
at
you'd
Musical
have,
Theater
like,
for America. Did you ever do something where you taught a student did something you felt proud?
Yeah, no, I liked my job. In that sense, I liked my job. When they did something good, I was like, oh, I helped them do that. That's like awesome. I also became a teacher because I was like, oh, I don't want to be in the State Department because I feel like it doesn't make a difference.
That
And I
was
like,
the track for your major, just to go to the State Department?
Yeah, that I was studying Arabic. It's
Mm.
like a very high need language. I speak Hindi. They really need that. I speak Urdu. They're like, it's like
How
it's
many
like
languages do you
all
speak?
Well, Hindi and Urdu are like the same. I speak Nepali and English, and then I lived in Colombia for Fulbright, so I speak some Spanish. That's
Incredible.
pretty good. My Arabic is gone though. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a difference. But it's true. You feel super helpless because you can make a emotional difference. Maybe they can feel like someone supports them, but they have really heavy things going on, and you feel like there's a curriculum. Like I have to get through this curriculum by the end of the year, and I don't even know if it's a good. Like if you had to ask me, I would be like, that's not a good curriculum. They're in 7th grade. They should know more than this. But you can't do anything about that, you know? So you're just kind of like, you realize pretty quickly, you're like, I'm a cog in a machine.
Yeah.
And you're like trying to avoid being a cog in the machine there, but now you're a cog in the machine here. And then you're like, what I should do is something self-interested and forget about this shit, you know?
Yeah,
just.
I'm sure working at SNL doesn't feel like a cog in the machine at any point.
But it's, you know, self-interest.
Sure.
No.
You ever get mad at a student? What was your version of like?
Yeah. I got so mad. I mean, I cried one time in class, and you can't cry in front of them.
Oh my God. I think I told, okay, my one teacher cry story is it was the drama teacher, of course.
Yeah.
And
Dramatic.
oh man, we did Lewis and Clark the musical. Not a great show. It was in 5th grade, and at the end of the final rehearsal, her name was I think Miss Bufithus, and then became Mrs. Oberlander.
Oh man.
I loved Bufithus. It was a good name. And she said, "All right, show's tomorrow. Any questions?" And a girl named Lacey raised her hand. She said, "Lacey," and Lacey said, "Next year, Nick, could we do something that's like fun?" And she went, "Okay, you're dismissed." And then she ran into the girls' locker room. She ran into the girls' locker room, and then Lacey. I just remember Lacey, who did not mean ill by it, was like, I didn't mean to. And then Lacey cried,
of course,
and it was just one of those
such a drama class.
One of those moments where all the guys were looking, and we were like, women be crazy, man. It was an incredible moment to witness.
I mean, that's a soft cry.
What did you cry about?
I was subbing for another teacher who wasn't there, so it wasn't my class. So my class was cool with me. I liked them. This was another class, and I was like telling them to do something, whatever. And one of them is like, "You are such a fucking bitch."
They said that?
Yes.
What grade?
7th grade.
Oh my God.
I was in a very tough school, you know, like it's like kids who have like actual gang related problems. Like they are tough kids. But one of them, and I've been subbing all day, so I'm already at the end of my rope.
So you might have been being a fucking bitch.
Yes, I was already like, I'd separated this kid. I was like, you need to sit over here because you're being a problem, whatever. And he's like, you're being such a fucking bitch. And I was like, I have to go outside. I'll be right back. And then I went outside and I cried, and I had to tell another teacher to go in there. And when I was teaching, I looked, you know, like 6 years younger than I do right now. I looked like a middle schooler. Like people who were substitutes who didn't know that I was a teacher would frequently be like, you need to sit down to me. Because I just looked like a kid. So these kids obviously didn't respect me. And then I just cried outside. And then I had to come back in like puffy face and just try to get control of this class again.
Yeah.
And then like,
it would be so hard when they would be
day.
like, because I subbed and I student taught. And subbing was so tough because you're going in and there's no like sort of like they
rapport.
can
There's
outwardly
no
be like, you know, unless you're doing a long-term thing, but like, and it would be so hard for me not to like be me like back.
Yeah.
Like I do remember one time this girl was like, she was like in middle school and she was just like, you know what? I don't like you. And I just was like, I promise you the feeling's mutual.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't like you. Like, we don't have to like each other. There's no way we're going to like, you know, like, it was just brutal because they just didn't.
They're paying me to be in this room with you.
Yeah.
If the money stopped, I'd leave immediately.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I had a friend, my like roommate at the time, a kid threw a desk at her.
Oh my God.
These were like really like hard schools. Obviously, that's why they're lacking teachers. It's like a difficult situation to be in. I had a friend who a kid was like, "Hey, will you drive me home?" because there's like gang violence in his neighborhood, and he's like, I'm scared. Will you drive me home? And my friend was like, I don't know how to tell this kid I'm also scared of a gang.
Sorry, kid, you're on your own.
What are you talking about? What do you mean drive me home?
You good? As long as you walk me to the car.
Yeah, literally.
Oh man!
So-
I remember one time I was writing a note to a kid to like because they were like going somewhere. They had to go to like bathroom pass, and I went to rip the thing, and I said shit because it ripped in half. And the kid was like, he was like a goody two shoes, and I remember being like, please don't tell anyone because I was student teaching. Because I saw it in his eyes, he was like, they can't believe this adult just swore in front of me, and I was like, please don't tell anyone. I was like, it was oh man, teaching.
Yeah.
And then you go to Nepal. You teach there a little bit.
No, we had this like big earthquake, and so
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I went back after that, and I saw a bunch of family and stuff. And then my aunt had a school, and I worked there.
Yeah.
Because it fell apart during the earthquake, and then.
But you're doing all this, and you feel like you're like, this is not my calling. This is not what I want.
Yeah, I was
do.
doing all of these things to be like, maybe doing something meaningful will make me feel like life is meaningful, you know. And then you're like, I think life's not meaningful. You're like,
I need to tell other people on a stage.
yeah,
That life's
yeah.
not
I think
meaningful.
I should just kind of do whatever I want to do now.
When you started comedy, so you started you went back to Atlanta?
No, I did like open mics in Memphis, but then I was in Columbia for Fulbright, and then when I came back, that's when I like really started doing it more regularly in Nashville.
Is it Fulbright? Do you have a mission state, or like you got it for something?
Yeah, for teaching.
And so they give you money so you can teach more?
You work at a university in their country. So
Okay.
the Fulbright's mission is, I don't know why, their mission is just making friends. You're just there. It was started as a program after like World War II, so we don't get into a war again as an idea. And the idea is that when you build community between like each other personally, you're more likely to be like, we won't do it. So it's just like the Senator Fulbright, it's his name, and he created this as a thing.
I was thinking about it was like a random thought I had today where it was like I feel so much of liberal, so much of our not the same generation, but like the general like, well, if you believe this, you're out of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the problem with that, guys, is when the Civil War happens,
Right.
they're going to have no regrets killing you.
Yeah.
Because they're not friends with a single one of you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The parents you stop talking to
That's smart.
are going to go, yeah, you can kill
You
him.
also kind of need to know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
be like, how far, because then maybe,
Yeah.
like at least we can keep a pulse on this
Yeah.
and just be like, how far is this going?
When I was at Wicked, there was a couple with Trump hats at Wicked, and I was like, interesting. Like, and
Amazing.
it was like
So
you were
funny.
like it's just funny because you're like, no one likes
Yeah.
you in this building, in this thing. And how do you watch that show and you're like, you see the people making that sure the animals can't talk more? That's you. Like you're like
Yeah.
you would be siding with the bad people in the show. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
you're like,
but no one. I saw Cabaret recently, and it was interesting because I had seen Cabaret and then another musical called Parade, and they're both stories of Jews dealing with anti-Semitism, and I'm like I know so many people see that, and
Yeah.
instead of taking a metaphor from it and going, wow, people can be unfairly kind of what's oppressed,
Right.
or what they take away from it. And I'm talking obviously about Zionists. Is they go, Jews are oppressed,
Right.
And I don't think people walk into shows generally and go, oh wow, groups can be oppressed, and you think you're on the right side of things,
Right.
And
Yeah, they
it's
think
the same
they're
with
the
that.
goat.
They're not. Yeah, they're not looking at that goat and being like,
Oh, we
trans
should-
or like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to
Trans
say
person.
that. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to compare the
No, but like someone
To be clear.
to be clear, we're talking very specific about Wicked.
Yeah.
But no, it's just funny because I saw they were both had Trump hats on, and someone at like intermission was like came up to them and must have been like another tourist that was like, hell yeah.
Oh.
And you could tell that it was like such a like they were trying to like get in
Right,
stuff
right.
with like they were like at intermission wearing their hats, just kind of like in the
Yeah.
like lobby like.
I mean, it
Who's
is kind
gonna
of,
come up to me? Who's gonna come up to me? You know.
Yeah,
Was that
'cause
their
they're like,
accent,
I'm
or
in
are you
New
putting
York.
that on them? Perhaps they were like, who is going to come
Who's
up
going
to
to come up
me?
to me?
It'd be
That's
funny
like,
if you give them an Indian accent. That would be, I think, funny.
Yeah, that's. Have you guys seen Mitchell and Webb? It's like a sketch show from it's a British sketch show.
No.
But they have the sketch in their first episode, and it's like them as Nazis, and they're trying to whatever, go to war or something, and one of them's like, hey, do you think we're the baddies in this? Do you think we're the bad guys? Because our uniform has a skull on it.
Oh, that's really
But it's
funny.
you don't realize
Yeah.
you're in that side for a while, and you're just kind of
Yeah. Or ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Cabaret, there's an incredible number in Cabaret where the MC, it's not part of the story, but he has a love story, and there's a monkey on stage. And he's just like, if you could see her through my eyes, and it's this beautiful thing. But then the final line is, if you could see her through my eyes, she wouldn't look Jewish at all. And I'm like, the lesson should be,
Right.
whenever you're talking about a group of people and you start referring to them as animals, you are bad.
Right.
You
Yeah.
are bad.
Yeah.
And I know that's not I just know so many people go, the Jews, they're after us. It's just, it's the failure of art. Art can only do so much.
Right.
In the end, it's pretty useless.
Even with music.
You
Especially-
Even when you add a
music.
song to it.
Yeah.
Can you make it till 5:30? I know we're going a little. Let's go into our next segment. This has got to stop.
Oh yeah.
This has gotta stop.
Been
Okay.
wonderful,
I
Casey.
wrote
You're
some.
a phenomenal guest. I don't remember half the episode because I was blacking out.
Blacked out.
The color's coming back to your
I
face.
I
so that's
cannot
nice.
believe.
You were fucked, man.
I can't believe I said you had a good tan at the beginning, and then for a
and then
second you
his
were
face
just white.
I mean, this is one to watch the video for sure. I really,
wow.
because one of those things where I'm like, I know I took the Zin out, but I'm like, I don't know what part of the wave I'm on.
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
could just be starting.
We could go forever.
It was close to, and we were having such a good time. I was gonna tell you to keep going,
Yeah.
and I was like, I thought it would be. Honestly, I thought if I threw up, I'm like, it would go viral.
That's
A podcast
so
episode where someone throws up,
funny.
comes back. I was ready. I was going to stick it out, guys. I was in Portland. Lights went out. The electricity went
Whoa.
out.
Wow.
First headlining show. And I did 40 more minutes. Everyone brought up their candles to the little electronic
that's
candles to the
cute.
front. It was cute, but it's
Did
even.
you just yell?
I yelled.
Oh. But you have
But-
a good voice.
I have vocal training to get
Right.
through that, but
Yeah.
I was monitored. I was like, I can't just blow out my
Yeah,
voice.
yeah,
yeah.
And it's so loud. There were so many people there that joke. Whenever I do one of those, I feel like I have to clarify,
Yeah.
or else it comes off arrogant. But there were a
Because
lot of
I'm
people there.
arrogant.
But it's one of those things comedically.
Yeah.
I have to go real strict, real tight setup punchlines.
Yeah.
It can't. There's certain storyish things that I can't do
Right,
because
right.
if the audience isn't re-engaging every time fully,
Yeah.
you'll lose them.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just too much noise
Yeah.
going on around.
Yeah. It's like a fight.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there
you
was.
can't
It
loosen
definitely
up.
was there was no more new material
Right.
for that portion of the show.
Yeah.
So they probably got a better show than most. You want to go good show out of me? Cut the mic, or write me before and
Yeah.
say a casting director might be there tonight,
Oh.
or a comedian I respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll get a good show.
Or bring a gun.
Oh my god.
Bring a gun.
Yeah.
No.
This has got to stop. This is a hotel centric one. How dare you? Take up real estate on the desk of the hotel with water bottles that have a price tag on it. That should I get thirsty and drink some fucking water, you're going to charge me $6. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. We cannot allow this to stand.
No.
It is gross behavior. And yeah, I'm going to use the cup in the sink, even though I know some documentary where they put a blue light and it was shown some previous
What?
guest filled it with cum and you didn't wash it at all.
That's what the blue light showed.
The blue, if you bring a blue light to any
Oh,
hotel,
cup of
Gum.
it's just dirty. These hotel rooms
You should
are
bring your own thing.
bring my own cup.
You're
I
you're
forgot.
traveling enough.
I forgot.
Or a water-
I brought my,
or like a water bottle.
I brought my headphone case to the airport. I've taken it out in the cab. I left the headphones at home. I brought the case, and I was like, you. And you thought the sandwiches were overpriced at the airport. Guess what's really overpriced?
brother.
The fucking AirPods in the
Yeah.
vending machines. And I looked at Amazon to be like, how much are they ripping me off? It's $100 extra. What am I gonna do? Go on the 6-hour flight without headphones? Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. But the water bottles, there's something about it that feels so gross. Give me a cheap water bottle. I don't care, but don't do that shit. You can do it for the fridge.
Feels like a human right. To have
Yeah.
water just feels like, just give me some water.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, I guess it's not a human right. I got to drink the shitty tap water.
Yeah.
And I guess tap water everywhere is okay to drink. I think I was raised thinking like there's certain places but I was at the Marriott in Flint, Michigan, and I said, I'm just gonna have to go with the tap.
Yeah.
That's the one to be. That water bottle would be like $100. You'd be like, fuck, what am I gonna do? By the way, if you feel you are still like loving that Democratic Party, there is some video of Obama where he does
God,
this
yeah.
thing, and I don't even know the details, but he was in Flint.
Well, no, they asked him to come because of
They
the
asked him to come,
crisis.
and he's like kind of verifying that the water is fine to drink, and like in 2 separate press things, he does the same move where he's like, let me have some,
Drink some water, like to prove that it was. Yeah.
yeah, and it's
Does he
like,
drink it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. But like there was something about like it wasn't.
We
It was
don't know
actually
where
the
it's
$6
from
But
or-
hotel
also,
water.
it's like, well, the problem isn't that you drink 1 cup of water. The
Yeah.
problem is you
Yeah.
grow
Yeah.
up drinking leaded water and you get brain damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But the whole point of it was to shut up. Stop
Right.
complaining about this.
Yeah.
It's not. We've addressed
And
it.
the way that the way it does like this water is great.
it's deeply. Yeah.
But it's really just like a very political moment that they capture that
Right.
will make you go, oh, no way that guy's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I remember SNL got criticized. They had an Obama sketch. The thing it didn't get criticized for was Fred Armisen playing him. But what they did get criticized for was that it was like, Obama's cool. There was just like a sketch that felt like, was that funded by the DNC?
No.
Was the premise, here's a pitch, Obama is cool and we all like him. And everyone... Russell, do you have this got to
Yeah,
stop?
this got to stop. Something's going on in my apartment building where every 3 days there's a new sign in the elevator about passive aggressive sign with pictures about what's happening in our recycling and trash room. And it has gotten to a point where I'm stressed out that I feel like I know the rules, but I'm nervous to throw
Right.
out things, and I'm nervous that
do the pictures show?
Well, it's like, and it'll be like trash update number 4, and it'll be
That's
like you'll be
passive
like-
aggressive.
and you'll be like okay, and it's like obviously there's certain ones that I know, and none of the pictures have been from me yet, but it
The
is like
picture is you, like it's like CCTV. You put
no, years ago, and also I like the person who runs our building, so I pray to God he's not listening to this because I do like him, and I don't know if he's in charge of the signs or if it's the landlord, whoever's doing it. I don't know, but it makes me like feel like I can't throw out everything because I'm nervous I'm gonna get in trouble, and there's
Right.
gonna be a sign in the elevator about it, and it's a small enough building where then I see it every time I'm leaving or coming,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and it's like I'm stressed out about it, and also like sometimes there's big things you want to throw out, and you're like, what are the rules there? We just leave it on the side of the thing, but then I've been told no, don't do that. You have to.
You got to call and you schedule.
But then
it.
I was told that rule's gone, and I'm very confused, and I'm stressed out. And I feel like I'm turning into a hoarder because I'm nervous about getting in trouble with someone in the building and having a sign that shames me in the elevator, and it's very stressful, you know.
put up a news sign. It's like trash update number 6. Everything's great.
Well, then sometimes it's like okay, here's news about like the neighborhood, and it's fine, and then that'll be for a few days, and then all of a sudden, new rule comes in, and it's like someone fucked up. They put egg carton in the recycling, and you can't do that. And I know that rule,
Right.
but like
Sure.
it's just it feels stressful to me.
That's very detailed.
I know. I did fuck up once in the beginning, and it was my sign is still in the trash room.
What did you do?
I threw.
Wait, they have a picture?
Not of me, but of my
Of
fuck
what
up.
you did, right?
It was like a Diet Coke, like a cardboard Diet Coke thing, and instead I didn't break it down fully. I didn't break it down enough to put it into the thing. Like,
so
so I basically
crazy.
just took
Mine
the
this
thing.
is so obsessive.
I know.
My building has a room that is everyone just puts all their trash in it.
Yeah.
And I mean it's disgusting. I've seen rats in it
Oh,
twice.
you could dine in mine. It's
Whoa.
very clean and organized.
You could in the table you could just make it out of all the unbroken Diet Coke can.
Wow. I got in trouble for a trash thing recently.
you?
But
Did they know it was you or?
well, I've been because my building's my landlord, me, and one other guy.
Oh,
That
And the
SNL
deli
money.
downstairs. Well, it's just this. The couple lives upstairs who owns
sure.
the building, and they're like this old Korean couple, and they're so nice. But I've just been putting my trash whenever I want on the sidewalk, and I've been doing this for 2 years.
Oh my god.
For 2 years, no problems.
Yeah.
Just put it on the sidewalk. In the morning, it's gone. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know
Sure.
how the trash system works. Then I got a picture of my trash sent to me by my landlord's son, and he was like, "Hey, these are the trash days." And I was like, "There are trash days?
Yeah.
I thought you were just supposed to put trash whenever." So now what I do is I just take my trash. I go to the end of this is illegal.
Yeah.
I just go to the end of the
Yeah, and put it in the
sidewalk
thing, yeah.
and I put it in the trash
Yeah.
can there because now I don't get in trouble. You
Yeah.
know? I'm one person, so I only make like this much trash.
I know.
a
I have
day,
I have
so.
one piece of something that I need to get rid of, and I'm like contemplating just going out in the middle of the night and putting it in the thing in the like the garbage can on the
You
street.
can do it in the daytime.
I know. I'm just worried about.
You have to do it casually, like
It's
this
a
is just
big
to
thing.
go food
It's
you
a big
got,
thing.
and you just put it.
It's
in.
like a piece of furniture,
You can't put a piece of furniture.
but it's
there.
not furniture where you can just put it on the curb.
Right,
it's like
right.
it's a thing that came and it was missing parts.
Oh.
And so it's kind of useless. So you can't even set it up to put it on the curb. So you were like, we have all these parts for like a shelf thing, and I don't know what to do with it.
Why don't you take it apart and do it one at a time? Every day you
That's
put a part
smart,
in
yeah.
at a time. like
disposing a body.
Yeah,
Yeah,
disposing a
yeah,
body.
yeah.
Exactly.
That'd be a good guest, a garbage man.
Yeah,
A
Yeah.
New York City
Yeah.
garbage man.
yeah.
You
I
talk
just-
about musicals with the New York City garbage man.
You don't know.
They're gonna hate it. That's true. He
Yeah.
could have a really good singing voice and like really like musicals.
Yeah.
As I said, a garbage man can't sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a show.
Ooh.
I would not want to be a garbage man. But I think they get paid well.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They
Yeah.
pay benefits as
Union.
as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they should. They should be making more than the mayor.
Yeah,
I don't know how much the mayor makes.
Should be taking the mayor out.
Yeah. What?
They
Like
should be
with the
taking
garbage, he's a
bribes
garbage.
Oh, okay.
from a Turkish
Not
guy.
kill him.
Do you have a This Has Gotta Stop?
Yes, mine's pretty small.
That's fine.
I don't like when you have been at a restaurant and we're all talking, and of course we're all talking, but know your order. When that person comes, it's not like we're fucking around
Yeah.
and this is gonna go on forever. Because it's the worst when you're hungry and you know your order because you looked at the menu while you're talking because you can read and talk like a person.
Wow. Okay, but sometimes it's tough when you're meeting someone that's like not a friend. Maybe you're kind of
Right.
talking some business.
Yeah.
And you sit down and it feels hard to be like, "Hi, not going to speak to you for 2 minutes."
Yeah.
And just look.
But okay, the first time they come around, it's water or whatever.
Sure.
So that part you get a pass. Everyone's
Yeah.
fine, obviously. Then you're like, oh, everything looks good here. That's how you start, and then you start looking at the menu.
Yeah.
Do
Sure.
a little segue to look at the menu, because the server hates you now because
Yeah.
they've come here 3 times and we haven't said anything, and I hate you. So we're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
On this date or whatever because we're not gonna have a good time now. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
You know.
Once in a while you make the mistake of I go, "Oh, you tell them. I'll know." And then you tell the order, and then
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, I'm not ready yet." And then we can come back.
Yeah.
On dates, I would just do,
Just take
having,
it.
she'll be having the
You
side
order for her.
It's
salad.
very rare for me to.
No, honestly, more often not. I'm like, I'll just have the side salad, no dressing. I'll have the Zen.
Yes.
All right, let's go into our final segment.
You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessing. I'm just thankful to still be alive. My blessing, I did Caleb Huron's podcast, and I talked about, I had a teacher named Jay Breyer, and it was at this I went to a middle school that was, it was a private school, and it used to be Catholic, like very Christian, and we still did assembly, and we say the Lord's Prayer, and we had like a cross, but that was it. And he was like the fun teacher, probably like, he'd probably tell me, yeah, I was 19 when I taught you. I'd be like, oh my God, really? Mm-hmm. But he was young, not that young, but he was gay and he was open. I think at a time where I don't think that was common when I was that age and at this kind of school. And the story I told on Kale's podcast was one day before class, I was doing some kind of jig or just like, put on a little show. And he said, Gianmarco, don't take this the wrong way. That's the gayest thing I've ever seen. And I do think how fortunate that I had like an adult who was open and like just open about it with no... Would speak openly if they were gay, or there was one assembly that I heard through the grapevine they got in trouble for, where teachers would give the assembly presentation sometimes, and he talked about being a big fan of wrestling, and he talked about like going to a wrestling, and that none of his friends liked wrestling, and he felt kind of weird for it, and then going to a wrestling match, and everyone was into wrestling, and how cool it was to be around people who liked the thing that you liked. And I don't know if it was I certainly wasn't wise enough to go like, oh, this is about being gay.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was, but all I know is that like it was so, looking at the trajectory of my life, or just thinking how, it was just lucky to have that.
Yeah.
I think it was a form of diversity that I don't think a lot of people might have gotten at that age in the place that I grew up. And looking back on it, it was a very fortunate thing to have someone who, it couldn't have been easy or to just be open like that. I'm sure there were some obstacles.
Yeah.
And he was also a very good teacher too, and a fun teacher, and I was lucky to have that. So
yeah, I love that.
So Jay Breyer, very cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
My blessing. So like I said, I my nephew visited this weekend, and my mom told me after they left that they were leaving, and he was like really quiet, and then she looked back and he had tears in his eyes. They were leaving, and he was like, I just get so sad when I leave Uncle Russell and Aunt Nicole. He goes, I just feel like I can say anything to them, and they will hear it. And just like, remembering being 8 and like adults, like it was rare to feel like you could talk openly and freely and be yourself with all adults. So to feel like, I do feel like he can, he feels super comfortable and super, because he's at that age where like he's not a little kid anymore. He's like starting to like be, know, and you're figuring out who you are and blah, blah, blah. And so it felt really, really nice.
Just, they're not always this sweet. Usually it's just like pussy or tits.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
No, you can like, it can be pussy, I don't, whatever,
Sure.
Pussy.
Could be pussy, tits, or legs. One of the three. Whatever you want.
We
It
pick
could be
each.
those gods, if you know what I mean. Okay.
I know for a fact that Russell's going to Google those gods on the way home.
Before I leave here.
There's like
He's going to go to ChatGPT and go, Sydney Sweeney, Hindu god. She's the god of lower back pain.
Whoa.
Do you have a blessing?
yes. Well, okay. Well, I have a sweet one.
Yeah.
And I have a fun one. My fun one's just Delta Lounge. Just been
Delta Lounge.
Yeah.
changed my life.
How new are you to it?
Like 2 months or 3 months.
Enjoy while you like it.
I know.
Let me tell you that.
I heard. Really? Why? What?
You go to the Delta Lounge in Kansas City and you go, what the fuck is this? I go to Delta Lounge and every day goes, no greens, not a single green thing here.
But that's what I like about it. That's okay. Delta Lounge first. I do this thing when I get to the airport, I have a meal. Then when I do the flight and I get off, I have another meal.
Yeah.
At
Well,
the
what about your
Delta
bag?
Lounge.
What about your bag? You
It's just my carry-on.
Oh, you see, for me,
Yeah.
and I used to do this in tougher times, where I bring carry on because I sell a lot of merch.
Yeah.
And I would be scared, I wouldn't want. Once someone tried to take a suitcase.
Whoa.
Like I caught them, like they were going away, and I had a bright yellow suitcase, and so I went over. I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
that's mine," and they said, "Oh,
Yeah.
it looks the same," and no one had.
No,
this.
it doesn't.
Stealing
Yeah.
a suitcase.
That's
I know.
crazy. But I guess it's easy because you can actually just walk into that area of the airport.
I just figure
There's
that
nothing that stops
most
you.
people don't have anything interesting in their suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, enjoy those 500 cum towels that say Moisture Crunchy. I have my Instagram handle on them. So I would run into the lounge and I'd take cups and cups of
Yeah.
all the ships. So you're doing that on the way
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
So because some lounges they crack down on that. They'll be like, the flight
can't
has to
leave.
be. You need to have a ticket for a flight that's about to leave.
Oh.
And they'll come for Delta. You know what? They recently started a new Delta lounge for first class. Which trust me, that lounge is eventually gonna be shitty, and
Yeah.
our lounge, the people's lounge,
Yeah, it's gonna be just the airport.
and they'll so enjoy it. But that's good.
Okay.
At the beginning of it,
Yeah, it's great
heaven.
because you're just like, now I'm gonna I miss like a third of the flights I take. I'm really bad at taking
Really?
That's insane.
That's crazy.
insane. That's insane.
It's insane. It's insane. The pro to that is I am very relaxed around traveling. Like I don't stress out about the airport. The con of that is I'm so not stressed that I miss my flights.
Do you
Comedians
just have to
a
buy
lot.
another ticket? Like
They just give you a free flight. When you miss a flight, this is something people don't know because they don't miss flights.
exactly.
But when you miss a flight, they'll just put you on the next flight.
Oh my god.
For free.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
this changes everything.
Yeah. One time, okay, it's only fucked up one time, and now I'm way more careful because you have to make the show by that night, so I don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Comedian the comedian.
Yeah, you
let
can't-
me not be funny for a second. You got to fix this.
Yeah. No, I've been fixing it because of something that happened to me in January. Since then, I haven't really missed a flight. I was supposed to go to Austin. I had like 2 shows on Friday, and I flew out Friday morning, and I missed my flight. So I go to JFK or whatever. I'm there. I've missed my flight by a lot. I don't want to tell you guys by how much
Yeah.
because it's an embarrassing amount of time.
Yeah.
Let's just say I woke up after my flight left.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I woke up 2 hours after my flight left.
Oh.
So I went to the airport.
How did you even explain it?
Exactly. So it's very hard to explain. What you have to do is like make up some lie that makes you look like an idiot where you're like, oh, I thought I booked a different flight. Anyways.
Yeah.
If you say a death, you're gonna have to show them something. I want something I tried to get out of, or something I tried to get a refund on. I said someone died, and they'll want the
You know
certificate.
what you
Obituary.
should do is just show ashes of a random thing.
Uh-huh,
And just be like, this is my
Yeah.
grandma, are you happy? But I got there and I knew this time I had no chance with the flight people. So I was just gonna buy a new ticket, but there were no flights that were gonna get to Austin in time for my show. So then I was like in crunch time. And so I went outside and the only flight I saw was leaving out of Boston and it would get to Austin right in time. And so I went to a yellow cab and I asked them if they would drive me to the Boston airport.
Oh.
And this yellow cab drove me to the Boston
How
airport.
much was that?
$500.
That's it?
Yeah, I know. It was actually. And
I
then,
can't
and then
actually believe that. I thought it would be like.
it's-
I mean, it's $100 for me to go to
Newark,
JFK.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how is it?
Yeah.
You're right.
$500?
Yeah, I was like, I thought your number was off, but I'm like, yeah, you are right.
Yeah, no, but you know, then
I always wonder with those cabs, like, how do they get back? Like, are they like, well, I'll eat the whole time to get back, it's
Yeah.
worth it, or they like gradually
They
take
find
a
a
trip
crazy
back?
person in Boston.
Do they move?
I miss
right
my-
because like I think the idea is that they're like, oh, I got done with my day at the end of this trip. Like
Yeah.
I made the 500
Yeah.
I was gonna make that day.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then I tipped him like 100. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right. So I get there, I get on the flight, and then I made my show. I landed at 7. My show started at 7, and then by the time my feature was done, I was on stage.
Oh.
So I
my
made it just in time, like fully straight to the club. So now I don't miss flights as much because it was so scary.
It's awful. I almost missed my, and it wasn't my fault. It was delay transfer, but I almost missed my first headlining weekend. And man, oh man,
yeah.
that was the worst.
Yeah.
There was. I remember I've gotten better now, but there was a time last year where the airlines were going crazy. It was like where COVID, whatever, and I think Delta said like 11% of their flights were canceled. It was crazy that 3 times I would board a plane and they're like, all right, we got to get off the plane. And I just remember it was like the last time I cried in an airport where I was just like, I think I was missing my first cellar spot.
Oh,
And
now
whatever.
God.
I got 3 tonight. We'll see if I get there.
I almost missed my first not missed it, but I was almost late to it.
Is
Because
this a problem? Do we need to have like a
no,
heart-to-heart
because
after this?
I left an hour before I was supposed to get there. And it's only like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Then the F was fucked and the R started running on the F line for some reason.
Crazy.
But you don't think that it's going to be the R. So I just got on because this is only the F comes here.
Yeah.
I got on it, realized it was the R, got off in Times Square, couldn't find a cab, ran to 6th Ave. 6th Ave is closed.
God.
Ran to 5th Ave, finally found a cab, fully drenched in sweat. I have to go see ST because it's a Sunday spot and she's there. And I mean, that was like the closest I've come
That's
to just fully
when
crying.
ST's there, you're about to miss.
I mean, I would have. It was my first spot. I would have had to just quit.
If
Like, I don't know what I
was
would
missing
do.
the first spot, this is how I'm walking in. No matter how I got there, if it's my fault, I come in on it. I would have picked up dirt, like rubbed it on my forehead,
Yeah.
maybe punched myself.
Yeah. I can't believe I made it.
I got.
That's actually a really good idea.
I almost missed
Yeah.
early on. This was the stupidest I've ever been in my life. I went there. It was the Halloween parade. I got out. The parade is standing between me and across the street.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to
my
get over.
God.
And so
Yeah.
I start running out. I have time. I'm there early.
Yeah.
I start going down looking for a cross. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It getting closer. It's
Yeah.
closer. I'm pushing through people. And I'm saying to the cops, I'm like, I
Yeah.
work there, and I'm
Yeah.
like trying to like make myself cry to like
Yeah,
get
yeah.
over there, and they won't do it. I'm going further and further south. I mean, I'm
Oh,
deep in there,
God.
and then and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I think I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
the barricade,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
run,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somehow I got there like in the nick of time,
Yeah.
sweating, and I realized that when I was exiting the subway, if I had gone to the left exit instead of the right exit,
Yeah.
You would have gotten out on the
I
other
would have
side.
been fine.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
And
Wow.
when I realized it,
crazy.
I was like,
Oh,
I was like,
I'm-
I'm the
Then you
I'm the
punch
dumbest
yourself.
person
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you don't think in the moment. Be like,
Oh, in the-
"Wait,
in
just
the
go
moment
back
I was in-
down
I was in
and
full-
go
it was just
under.
one of those moments
you
where
need
you're
to
like-
find underground. We can't
Yeah.
go above ground.
Yeah.
Underground.
Yeah. It's
to
one of
be fair, I was still 30 minutes early to the spot because when I got there,
Oh.
no, I was 10 minutes earlier than the time that she gave me.
Sure.
Which still I think looks bad as your first spot because she did email me and she said, "Hey, you're confirmed for now. Are you coming?" I'm so glad I didn't see that.
Esty or Liz?
Esty. Yeah.
I've truly something clicked. I was on the road enough where I've really chilled out about all New York spots. Like I'm so overworked on the road that I'm like, well, if I don't get booked for a little, good. I
Yeah.
can read a book. But like Tova had to
Yeah.
deal with some just brutal like, oh my God, and
Yeah.
I said it to the wrong person, and
Right,
I'm never
right,
gonna
right.
work
Yeah.
again.
Oh
and-
my God, that happened. I forgot to send her a headshot. I forgot, but she's been actually so nice. So
Yeah.
I'm like, this is, you get this like sort of cajoling. I think up top
Sure.
where everyone is so
Listen,
nice.
I think that SNL credit really greases the wheels. All right. Oh my God, we gotta wrap this
gotta.
up. Oh God.
my God.
Okay, there's some. Okay. Anything you want to plug? This is coming out July 16th.
Well, I'm on the road and just my Instagram has all of it. So it's KC Shornima. So I'll just plug my Instagram.
And we'll put your Don't Tell link.
Yeah.
It's a great Don't Tell set. Russell, what do you want to plug? 716.
716. Oh, you still have time to get tickets to the Downside Live on tour in Philly, Washington, D.C. No, wrong order. Washington, D.C., Philly. No, Washington, D.C., Boston, Philly, New York City. In that order, the 22nd through the 25th
Yes.
of July.
It's gonna be great. And for me, oh my God, I don't even know. I might be in Syracuse tomorrow. I think I'm headlining the Funny Bone and
yeah.
the
Funny
Funny
Bone.
Bone. The Funny Bone. I couldn't get booked at the Funny Bone. Had to settle for the Funny
Funny
Bone.
Bone.
It's much smaller. No, it's big, and I promise there's going to be seats. It's a Wednesday night in Syracuse.
Woo, we'll be there.
Russell will probably be in the audience, I hope.
Yes, I will.
We're doing something for American High. And then in LA, Los Angeles, it might be sold out, but my Silver Lining show is July 28th. New material, crowdwork. I got Joel Kim Booster and Robbie Hoffman. Those are two phenomenal comedians.
Very funny.
And then if you're in Australia, Australia's coming up. I'm sure there's some tickets for some of them. Some are sold out. And join the Patreon. I forgot to say, patreon.com/downside. You're going to get some little bonus stuff from the live tour. You got our live episodes, our Patreon exclusive episodes. And we're almost at 500. And then Russell and I are going to go to a recording booth and record a musical theater song.
Musical theater.
And if you join the Patreon, you left the Patreon, well, guess what? We want you back. This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.